I don't got no friends. I don't got no friends. You know what I mean? I got supporters, people on my side and people on the other side.
Welcome to the shift where the whole room glows. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. This you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yo, shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. This that channel that be talking back, energy attack. Iron sharp as iron, watch the whole league react. Competition in the building, better tighten up your facts. We ain't clones, but we still mirror how you crack under impact. Every debater work hard, spot a weak, rap fast. You live wrong, paradigm shift and break your stance. I'm the judge, the jury, the pen, the contrast. My bars hit always like a quadruple, bottom to the shift where the whole room glow. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't all align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. We invite every mind, long as you stand on yours. Walking with respect, leave with open doors. Channel stay lit, views jumping off the boards. STL bounce, yeah, the spot from the source. Competitors, welcome, step up, don't fold. We don't fear pressure, we refine under load. Thoughts heavy, we press them till the truth gets told. Shift so clean, it feel platinum even when it's gold. Come through correct, bring your logic and your proof. Speak your truth, just don't run from the truth. We debate with grace, that's the paradigm groove. Flow so smooth, even turbulence move. Welcome to the shift where the whole room go. DMG vibes got the city on go. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Where the whole glow. DMG vibes like a city on glow. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' go. If you black, I'm with you, let the whole world know. Paradigm light, yeah, we shine just right. Respect your view, even if we don't align right. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Welcome to the shift. DMG vibes got the city on go. Welcome to the shift. Stand on what you know, every mind gon' grow. Welcome to the shift. If you black, I'm with you, black, I'm with you. Welcome to the shift. We can disagree and still keep the love tight. Welcome to the shift. DMG family, we elevate the mind right. Welcome to the shift. DMG vibe got the city on low. Walk with paradigm shift, keep the road for.
Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you black, I'm with you. And I hope that you with me.
Paradigm shift. TV 314. We ain't just making content. We moving culture.
The shift don't stop.
Let's go.
The shift don't stop, we keep the truth on lock. Building every day, we ain't watching no clock. Knowledge over noise, let the whole world watch.
Paradigm Shift TV.
The shift don't stop.
The shift don't stop, yeah, we raising the bar, turning every microphone into a shooting star. From the city to the globe, know exactly who we are. Paradigm Shift TV.
We taking it far.
Welcome to the movement where the facts get tested. Weak arguments fall when the pressure gets invested. Every conversation sharpen minds like a weapon, building independent thinkers every single lesson. The infamous perspective, speaking from the soul. Question every narrative, never lose control. The GT project, digging even deeper. Planting seeds of wisdom now to wake the sleepers.
Step into the light, let the truth illuminate.
No fear in the darkness when the facts demonstrate.
The black church files, history reclaims.
Separating faith from traditions that were framed.
The shift don't stop, we keep the truth on lock. Building every day, we ain't watching no clock. Knowledge over noise, let the whole world watch.
Paradigm Shift TV.
The shift don't
Salute to the family that's built.
The shift don't stop. Welcome to Paradigm Shift TV 314. This is your brother, DMG, the poet, also known as the infamous DMG. Some people call me Brother Pianki. Listen, we got a powerful show coming up with a powerful guest. It's not his first time on, but it's his first time being featured. But before we get to our brother, I gotta do my spiel. Let me say God bless to all my Christian brothers and sisters, Hotep to all my Kemetic brothers and sisters. I want to say shalom to all my Israelite brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum to all my brothers and sisters in the NOI and Islam as a whole. I want to say Islam to all my Moorish brothers and sisters. I want to say peace to all my brothers and sisters in the nation of gods and earth, them 5%ers. I want to say salute to all my Abo brothers and sisters. I want to say what's up to all my atheist brothers and sisters. Shout out to all the agnostic brothers and sisters. I want to say a big bless up to all my Rasta brothers and sisters. Last and certainly not least, I want to say Jumbo to all the rest of my brothers and sisters all throughout the African diaspora, be it here in the wilderness of the United States of America or beyond. Y'all know I say that greeting for one reason and one reason only. It's because if you're black, I'm with you, and I hope you with me. Our different ideologies should not keep us from uniting. We can have unity without uniformity. And last and certainly not least, we can disagree without being disrespectfully disagreeable. With that being said, my brother, please introduce yourself to the Paradigm Shift TV 314 audience.
Peace to the panel. Peace to the audience. It's King J. Like the brother said, I'm fairly new to the panel. My first time, definitely being featured. Definitely going to be a good debate. We here today for a face-off. So throw some light jabs and, some intellectual sparring and, see where each one stands on our positions for some.
For sure. And y'all know this other brother. He is no stranger to the shift. My man, the eye smiter himself, brother Jose Francis in the building. What's up, Jose?
Now, I want to take this opportunity for you to premiere my Kemetic name because I want the people to hear what I have been dubbed by the infamous DMG, aka Pianki Mantu. Is it Rahotep?
No, sir.
I got that wrong.
Pianki Pata Muntu Nefer Amun Ra.
My bad.
That's my Kemetic name for y'all who forgot.
But premiere my Kemetic name for the people who don't know that I have been anointed and dubbed and knighted by the infamous DMG, aka Brother Pianki. I want the people to hear that. Because I didn't get dubbed with more than you gave me. I anointed myself the ice.
You gotta say it, Jose. I just said my name. You gotta say yours.
I forgot, right?
See?
I think it's Mantu.
Now, why would you bring it up if you forgot? Jose always put himself in the trick bag.
It's Mantu.
It was.
I think it's Mantu.
Come on.
Look, you forgot to. Look, you forgot to. You're struggling too.
No, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. I'm waiting on you. Come on, Jose.
Montu EE Hotep.
Nope.
Yeah.
See, this is embarrassing, brother. This is why people think JJ gonna beat you.
Dana, I'll have notes for the debate.
You better prove them wrong. Okay, let me refresh your memory. Let me refresh your memory, Jose.
Yeah.
It was Patah, remember? Patah,
okay. I got you.
Muntu, Amun Ra. Say it with me, Jose. Patah, Muntu, Amun Ra.
Patah, Muntu, Amun Ra.
Come on. Patah, Muntu, Amun Ra.
Patah, Muntu, Amun Ra. Okay.
You gotta write it down, brother. You can't be accepting names you ain't gonna remember. Think about this. Shout out to Baba Saber Amori Seneferu at the Temple of Het Haru. When he dubbed me Pianki Patah Muntu Nefer Amun Ra, Jerome can tell you, I said it at the beginning of every show. Shout out to Jerome Green, who was there from the beginning back in 2018, 2019, whichever one it was. I said my comedic name, the whole thing at the beginning of the show. Matter of fact, I got a logo in here somewhere where it's still on there. But anyway,
okay.
King J is here because he and I are having a debate. Brother Jose Francis is simply here to make sure we don't get too out of pocket, too out of control, and to keep the conversation going, make sure both of us can, get an opportunity to talk. The topic for next week's debate, the debate is next week. Y'all put in the chat if I should make it members only, and so I can kick my brother down like $50 to $100. And he didn't ask me for no money. Don't nobody get no ideas like he trying to charge me. He didn't. But I would still like to compensate him if possible. That being said, the topic is, was Christianity forced on African-American slaves? King J is the affirmative, I'm the negative. As we do with these debates, we're gonna let the affirmative go first. He gonna let y'all know why he's standing on business, why he writing exact, and then once Jose say it's time for me to chime in, I'm gonna chime in. Go ahead, King J.
Okay, now, but hold on, King J. Is there a date set, or you're still working on the date?
Next Friday, 7:15 Central Time.
I got you. So the debate is next Friday. People tune in. He don't know if you're gonna make it a members only or whatever. So King J, plead your case. I'm gonna give you about 5 minutes or so to plead your case. Then I'm gonna let DMG come in. He gonna plead his case. Then we'll go from there. So go ahead, King J. King J, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here. Whenever.
All right. I don't know if it's me or you sounding choppy. I don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I could hear you.
All right, let's go.
Just be me.
All right. Peace to the panel. Peace to everybody. My name is King J. Today I'm here to dismantle a historical narrative that has been sanitized for centuries. We are often told of a story of voluntary redemption, that African slaves willingly found comfort in the arms of Christianity. But the historical and scriptural reality is far more sinister. Christianity was not merely introduced to African slaves. It was systematically weaponized and forced upon them to justify their subjugation, break their spirits, and legitimize their bondage. Let's understand how this religion became a tool of supreme oppression. We must look at the structural framework built by European powers and enslavers. They didn't just use physical chains, they used theological ones. Let's start with Leviticus 25:44 through 46 in regards to chattel slavery, where it says male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. we see that similar logic in regards to Christianity, where it says Christians aren't allowed to enslave other Christians. We see here with the papal bulls, the legal decree. It became the very top of the Christian hierarchy with the papal bulls, such as the Dom Diversus and the Roman Pontifex. This was issued by the Pope. So these decrees explicitly granted Catholic monarchs the divine right to invade, search out, capture, vanquish, and subdue non-Christians and reduce them to perpetual slavery. When we look at the scriptures, when slaves were brought to the Americas, enslavers used the Bible as a textbook for submission. They pointed to Leviticus 25, 44 through 46. They pointed to Ephesians 6, 5 through 8. They used 1 Peter 2 through 18, 1 Timothy 6 through 1, right? So these were used to often ensure slaves would not rebel, right? Enslavers would relentlessly drill these words of Ephesians 6, 5 into them. Slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ, right? So that's basically my argument. I'm arguing that Christianity was forced upon us. It was not something that was initially our religion in Africa. So I'm going to be able to take you step by step, starting with the baptisms, right? Because you got to keep in mind they were baptized before they even left the shores of Africa. So with that, I yield.
Go ahead, DMG. It's on you to rebut and set your framework on how you're going to deal with this argument.
All right, my argument is simple. My argument is that our African American ancestors made a conscious decision to become Christians, because what King J just described was not Christianity. And I think we all have been following this conscious community atheist trope about Christianity being forced on our ancestors for so long that it just became true. Even you get people still to this day saying that they thank God for slavery because that's how they got the truth. When the reality is people just legit don't know the history of their own people. They pretend to, but they really don't. If you knew the history of your people, you would know that it wasn't until after the year 1800 that African Americans became Christians en masse in this country. So when did they start forcing it? After 1800? You mean we have been here since the late 1400s and we just became Christians en masse in the 1800s? They don't even know that enslavers didn't want any parts of their slaves converting to Christianity, because for them, up until a certain point, that meant they had to let them go because they were Christians, and Christians ain't supposed to enslave other Christians, so much so that they changed the law. Matter of fact, let me not talk out the side of my neck and show y'all the law that they changed, because what somebody would have to show me is if they had to change a law to say Christians, if a slave became a Christian, that did not absolve them of being in bondage, then if they was already forcing them, why would that law have to be created? You see, but you know what? I'm gonna say that for the debate. Listen, again, we've gotten so inundated with this false information that we just began to see it as true. There is no other religion, spiritual tradition, philosophy on the planet where it would be a known fact that the entire corpus of the document or text or book that teaches said spiritual tradition, philosophy, or religion was not given to a particular people, and we still say that they were given that thing. In other words, we know our ancestors never got the full text of the Bible. But last I checked, you got to have the entire teachings of the scriptures to even know what Christianity is. Can't nobody just tell you. So even if the brother is correct, and I believe he is, that they baptized our ancestors before they even left Africa, you would have to show me that was in line with the teachings of the man known as Jesus Christ. Whether you believe he existed or not, Christianity is based on the teachings of Jesus Christ, the life, death, and resurrection, and the teachings thereof. So unless that's what he's saying was forced on our ancestors, he is incorrect. And I'm gonna prove it when we have this debate. I'm not gonna prove it by just saying it. I'm gonna show with the text, with scholarly works from scholars, because I know y'all love that nobody agrees that actually has a real sense of history and what Christianity actually is, that's what our ancestors were given. I rest my case.
Okay, so now King J, you heard his premise. He's saying it was not Christianity. It was some form of something else. And he's going to show you that. So without getting too deep into it, I want you to answer why you would say, why you would say it is Christianity. How can you quantify that it was Christianity? Because he's making an argument, yeah, they gave them something, but it wasn't that. So how could you quantify that without tipping your hand too much? What would your response be to that?
Mhm. My response would be simple. When we look at Catholicism, I can't pronounce it a little bit. Catholicism, they're anchored in yeah, they're anchored in scripture. All of the creeds, all the traditions, specifically the Nicene creeds and the Apostle creeds, right? These are tenets of the Catholic faith, right? The Holy Trinity, right? The belief that one God who exists eternally as three, right? Distinct person, the Father, the Son, which is Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, right? I'm going to argue that when these priests on the shores of Africa, West Africa, when they're baptizing the Angola people who they have captized and sent missionaries to convert by force to Christianity, that this is in fact Christianity. They're baptizing in the name of Jesus Christ and all of the tenets of Christianity that we still have today. So I don't think that's a very good, strong argument to make, because I'm going to come out the door and show that Christianity and chattel slavery is based. It's all in y'all scriptures. Well, not your scriptures to say, but all within the Christian text itself. In fact, we'll probably end up arguing that it's based off of it. And so we're going to get into the doomed verses of 1452, the Romans Pontifex of 1455, divine destiny, of course, and how they think or how they use the text to justify the enslavement of these people. Because in particular, the laws that they passed said that the enslavement of these people, right, would bring them closer to Christ, right? So they said it was the will of God, right? So I'll be able to show these actual specific texts where they say that enslavement of these people were actually, doing the will of God, because it's going to bring them closer to Christ to make them actually Christians. So that's how we answer that.
Let me go a little bit sort of off the rails here, right? Now, when we deal with Christianity has a specific definition. But now, would we say that anyone in 2026 is practicing the biblical version as opposed to a canonized version, a Europeanized version, and an African or Africanized version?
That ain't got nothing to do with that ain't got nothing to do with the debate, Jose. Check this out. No.
Hold on.
Yeah, not at all.
Ain't got nothing to do with the debate. Let me respond to King James.
Let me tell you. But let me tell you why.
Jose, chill out, Jose. Let me respond to King J, because what you just, I don't know what you asked, but that ain't, I don't know what that got to do with our debate. Check this out. You talking about 2026, we talking about whether Christianity was forced on our African and African American ancestors. Stop it. You moderating. You just make sure we keep this show on.
All right, but I'm asking the question.
Cut it out.
I'm ready for you, DMG.
Since you want to, hold on, Jose.
Can I answer the question?
You backed out of this debate. You backed out of this debate. So now you get to tell me what that got to do with our debate. Go ahead.
What it has to do with is the definition and the idea of was it Christianity or not.
How?
I think that's a fair question to ask.
And
let me tell you why.
Hear me out.
I can show you.
Hear me out, Jose. Hear me out. Listen.
Go ahead.
What does whether or not anybody is practicing biblical Christianity in 2026 have to do with whether or not Christianity was forced on our ancestors? Go ahead.
Did you hear the first part of the question? The first part of the question was, is anyone practicing was anyone practicing or is anyone practicing Christianity from a biblical standpoint? Was anybody doing that? That's my question. And that goes along with the definition of what Christianity was.
In 2026, you asked, right?
Back then, was anyone really practicing biblical Christianity?
Yes, it was. So let's move forward.
And I think that's a fair question.
Hold on, King J. Let me ask you this, Jose. How could we possibly know if anyone was or if anyone wasn't?
Because you're making an assertion that it was not, right? That is what you said.
No. Listen, hear me out.
He's making an assertion that it was.
Even if I thought they was, Jose, I don't know what people did in their private life back then, so I can't say for sure. So I'm trying to figure out why you asking.
And then I just want them to moderate. I don't want them to ask questions. I want them to just moderate.
Right. I don't know what
a moderator is supposed to act. A moderator is not supposed
King
to act.
King J, let me tell you what's going on with Jose. Jose backed out of this debate. Jose backed out of this debate, but he still wants the smoke.
Here's what I'm going to do.
Right, he backed out, but he's trying to debate.
I just need you to moderate our conversation. We don't need you to ask questions. Now, can I respond to King J? Can I respond to King J?
Here's what I'm going to do.
Can I respond to King J?
Can I say something?
No.
I don't think you guys need a moderator. I don't think you guys need a moderator, DMG.
We actually do. We just don't need the moderator to ask questions that don't have nothing to do with the debate.
Okay, sir. So you guys just go in and I will just hush my mouth in terms of asking questions there.
I appreciate
That's what I'll do.
I appreciate
I apologize.
You backed out the debate. You backed out the debate. Now you want to try to have it. You backed out of the debate. Now you want to try to have it when me and the brother having a face off. Boy, you is hilarious. You is hilarious.
My bad.
Look, if we save your debate talk till you and JJ had this face off in a few hours. Make sure your eye don't get smited by JJ.
Fair enough.
All right, King,
go ahead.
King J. So you brought up a lot of documents that were not biblically backed, that were basically government, that was more political documents than they were anything, but they definitely weren't biblical. So my question to you,
okay, go ahead, brother.
My question to you would be, do you have any biblical basis, not talking about political, like quasi-political biblical justification that men made up, but actual out of the Bible, justification that said for saying Christianity was forced on our ancestors. We know, and I want to be clear on what I'm saying. My thing is, if it's not out of the Bible, if Christ didn't teach it, then it's not Christianity. So do you have anything outside of what some men did using the Bible to try to justify something?
So my question to you would be,
go ahead.
my question to you would be, did Christ create a new doctrine, or did he just read an already established one? He said he comes to fulfill the law, not create and destroy it, correct?
Correct.
So does he create his own doctrine, or is he already using an established one?
Well, he made, the way I would say it is, he made some modifications.
We'll find out.
In other words, where Moses put it to where a man could divorce his wife, Jesus came and said, "Not so fast, Speedy. It's only certain parameters where you can divorce your wife." So he made some modifications, and I wouldn't say he made something new per se, but he did make modifications to it.
But he didn't create a new doctrine. Okay. So Christianity isn't a new anything. It's just a Roman version of the gospel of Jesus.
Well, it don't have nothing to do with Rome, but you know the difference between a remake and a reboot?
A revisionist.
No. Like, with like a movie, you have remakes where they completely remake a movie that was already made, and then they have reboots where it basically kind of continues or follows up on, they give a fresh take on the movie. You know the difference, right?
Yeah.
I would say what Jesus did was a reboot, not a remake.
Well, I'm prepared to come for my first round to, just knock this argument out the waters. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna hit you with the scriptures that support my argument, that shows that chattel slavery particularly is woven into this doctrine that we're talking about today. That's in Christianity. They didn't create a new, and I'm going to argue that they didn't create a new doctrine at all. They simply enforced what was already in the biblical text. We're going to look at Leviticus 25:44-36, where it says male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you. I'm going to correlate that to when Christians say Christians may not enslave other Christians, right? So I'm going to show you from 1619, right, when we have the Jamestown 30, until I believe 1662, when we have cattle slavery, actually in 1667, where we have the laws enforced, to whereas they pass the laws to whereas baptism doesn't justify you can be enslaved and still be a Christian, right? So, and I'm going to show that when they do come in 1619, that it may not have been a chattel slavery, but they definitely were an indentured servant, which would correlate with the biblical text as far as being able Hebrews being able to enslave other Hebrews, as far as not in a chattel slavery way, but up to 7 years, right? As an indentured servant. But if that indentured servant is given a wife, right, a foreign wife in particular, and they have children, right, then the children and the wife become chattel slavery in his property of the owner for life, right? So this is in the biblical text. And if the indentured servant, if the Hebrew, the husband decides that he loves his wife, right, then he'll serve with the family for life as well. So these are in the text. We're gonna definitely look at that. I'm gonna bring that out. Particularly Exodus 21, 2-4, that describes that. So it's a lot of information that I'm gonna give. I have a lot of text, biblical text. I have a lot of laws, a lot of decrees, and we're gonna go step by step. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take you from 1452 to 1455. I'm gonna take you to 1483 Elmina Castle, right? Whereas they had the Catholic Church on top, and they had the dungeons, the slave on the bottom, right? So we'll talk about that and how they brought them out, and the missionaries to expect them. The slaves that were no good were discarded. The ones who were, deemed Bible, were stamped and baptized, right, and given um, Christian names. So we'll look at the 1624 muster roll, right, and we'll be able to see all of the Christian names. So I'll be able to show that even before they even set foot on American soil, those Africans were converted Christians.
Okay. That sound amazing, and I'm looking forward to you actually working that thing out. Again, what you would have to show me is, because Christianity has a definition, and you would just have to show me that what was done was in line with that definition. Unless you're gonna say that definitions don't matter. Now, if definitions matter, all you got to do is make sure what you claiming was Christianity actually lines up with Christianity. I think you said something about Christians not being able to enslave other Christians. Again, I just showed it was a law in place that the enslaver tried their best to avoid converting our enslaved ancestors, because they had a fear that they would have to let them go. They changed that law. Now, why would they have to change that law if they were forcing them to be Christians?
Two reasons.
Go ahead.
Right? Well, one, DMG, you started once they were already here, right? Remember, mind you, I started at 1452. You was talking about the Jamestown 30 when they get here. That's way after 1619, right? The muster roll is 1624. So when I walk you down with chronology, then you'll be able to see that argument that you're making won't really be able to stand, because I'm showing you literally that they were baptized, right? I'm gonna give you the name of the person, John Barbeau.
You broke up just a little bit, bro.
Can you hear me a little bit better now?
Go ahead.
Yep, I'm gonna show you using John Barbeau, right, and using the baptism mandate that they were baptized Christians before they even made it to America, right? So we'll go through the story about the Angola slaves and how they were upon the Batista boat, right, and how the British, the English ship, stole the cargo, and they were property. So this property had to be baptized Christian in order for cheaper cargo tax, right? All right, they were cargo. So it's reasons why they were baptized Christians before they left the shore of the West Africa. But once they made it to America, even then, I'm going to be able to show the conversion from Christianity. Because they did initially face that road, but that didn't stop them from using them as indentured servants. So from 1619 to when they actually made it to about 1660 to when they passed the law was about 40-50 years. So once they realized, because the literate slaves were coming in and saying, we are Christians, you can't. They were making that argument, right? And so what did they do? They passed up the Negro Act, right? They passed the law of 1662. They passed the laws of 1667, right? Saying that it doesn't matter that another Christian can enslave another Christian, right? And they passed it to whereas if the mother was born into servitude, The child was born into perpetual servitude. That's what, and that goes along with Leviticus 25, 44, 46. That goes along with the Exodus 21, 2 through 4, right? To whereas if he's given a foreign wife, he may be um, indentured servant for life, to perpetual servitude. So when we look at the definition of chattel slavery, we'll see that it's a perpetual servitude for life. So we find that definition in the Bible. So it's not going to be as if they're creating a new definition um, for this chattel slavery once they get to the shores of America. It was already in the doctrine. They didn't create anything new. You know what I'm saying? So I'll be able to show that. I'll be able to show how those 30% Muslim slaves that came over, right? How they were converted from Islam into Christianity, right? How, which we're going to talk about the Stono Rebellion, right? Where they made it illegal to use the drums, right? Where they made it illegal to gather in any capacity if it wasn't in regards to Christianity, right? So I would ask you one question, and that would probably be that. What would you say in regards to that? In regards to why they passed the law to in regards to large gatherings, to whereas Christianity was the only thing that could be preached.
It's funny you mentioned that, because that's actually when they passed that law, when they said only when Christianity was being preached, that meant under the guidance of the enslaver. Because again, in mass, our ancestors didn't even become Christians till after 1800. Most of them were still practicing Islam or their indigenous, or an amalgamation at least, of indigenous African traditions. It wasn't until the so-called Second Great Awakening that in mass our ancestors became Christians. And the enslaver had no priority in making them such. That being said, once they actually did consciously decide to become Christians, they began to gather by themselves under the cover of night in abandoned cabins, in any place they could, to have church, to play those same drums that was outlawed in a church setting, at risk of imprisonment, being sold, being whipped, and even killed. Again, if you force somebody to do something, they ain't got to sneak and do it, because they knew the difference between what the enslaver said was Christianity and what actual Christianity is. And they tell us this, and I'm gonna show this in the debate. They tell us, they draw a line of demarcation between what the enslaver was calling Christianity and what they discovered was Christianity for themselves. They tell us explicitly. So we can look in 2026 and look back and say this and say that. They told us what it was. And I like that you talk about the law, the Virginia law of 1667, right? And my question is still, why pass such legislation? Because slaveholders feared Christian baptism might legally free enslaved people. The law reassured owners that Christian conversion would not alter property status. If Christianity were already being universally forced upon slaves, this legislation wouldn't have been necessary. The law demonstrates enslaver anxiety, not forced conversion. So again, what we're gonna find out is, does this qualify? What you're describing, does it qualify as Christianity? And give me 1 second, and I'm just gonna read this, and I'm gonna ask you: is what you mentioning, does that qualify for Christianity? This is the the definition of Christianity. As a matter of fact, before I read that, King J, I would ask you, how do you define Christianity? And then I'll read the actual definition.
I would say Christianity in regards to specifically when we're talking about the Catholic Church, one who believes that God exists externally as three distinct co-external people: the Father, the Son, such as Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit. A belief that Jesus Christ is the divine Son of God who became human, born of the Virgin Mary, to redeem humanity from sin. I would say those would be definitely tenets of Christianity, core tenets that you could not be a Christianity. I mean, you could not be a Christian without those beliefs.
So,
And that's
hold on,
your definition.
Hold on, DMG. Hold on, DMG.
Uh-huh.
Before you do that, after you do this definition, are you guys ready for me to open up the line and let some people in, or you want to go back and forth a little bit more?
How you want to do it, Jim? Because we've been on for about 45 minutes. Let's go back. Let's go back and forth for another 10 minutes before we open up the lines, and then we can open up.
Right.
I'm cool with that.
We just not getting into some good questions. But yeah,
DMG.
I think in regards to what we're talking about, and specifically the Catholic Church, right? Because it's the Catholic Church.
Give me 1 second. I have to step away.
Okay.
Okay. So
hold on.
So when we talk about the Catholic Church,
King J, I want to step away.
You went out.
I need to step away for 2 minutes, DMG. I have something to do for 2 minutes, so I'm just gonna step over for 2 minutes and come back.
Go ahead, bro.
Keep going back and forth.
So you mentioned the Catholic Church, and are you talking about the Roman Catholic Church? Because you know it's a Catholic Church and then it's a Roman Catholic Church, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Protestant. I'm familiar with the different, sects. But so in regards to this, we're talking about the Bishop of Rome, who's issued the papal bull. So yes, I'm talking about Rome.
Okay. So I read my definition
because this is who, because we're not being anachronistic. So we're talking about who's actually issuing the decrees during this time period, and who not the Nicene Council. These are Catholics. Popes. So I'm not being
Roman Catholics, right?
Roman Catholic. So I'm not, and these are at this point in time. This is the only government that's pushing this, right? It's worldwide. This is the only. There is no other Christian, right? Universal religion, so to speak. Not until they split. Not until they split.
Are you sure about that though?
Not until they split, yeah. Because
okay,
brother, we gonna hash it out. But so when you ask me the definition of Christianity, and I'm giving you these tenets, right? So they don't change. So when I say they believe in one God who exists externally as three distinct co-equal people, the Father, the Son, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Spirit, and I show that they're baptizing in this name of Jesus, then how are you going to say that's not Christianity when they're literally baptizing in Jesus' name of Jesus Christ?
Okay, so watch this. Number one, you said you sure the Roman Catholic Church was the only brand, for lack of a better term, of Christianity at that time.
It would have been the administrative religion at that time, for sure.
Okay, cool. We're gonna see about
we're gonna talk about the split.
Yeah. No, I ain't even talking about the split, bro. But we'll see if that was the only. Now, if you said they was the most powerful at the time, I'm with you.
We can say that. Most powerful, because that would be more appropriate. I would actually say as well.
I agree. We on the same page then.
I would agree with that.
Okay, so So let's define Christianity, right?
Please.
And this is according to scholars Yaroslav Perlikin and Alistair McGrath. Christianity is the historic faith centered upon Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection, salvation through him, the authority of the complete Old and New Testament scriptures, and Christian discipleship. Christianity is therefore the whole biblical message, not isolated proof texts or political instructions. This distinction matters because one cannot logically claim Christianity was forced if people were intentionally denied much of Christianity's actual teachings.
Oh no.
Your response.
Oh no. So when I gave you the tenets of Catholicism, right, or the Catholic Church, right, and I gave you those three tenets, right, and I also mentioned the Catholic doctrine, how it relies on two interconnected sources, right, the divine revelations, sacred scriptures, Bible, right, the sacred tradition, the oral teachings, right, and the practices handed down from the apostles, right. So that's the Old and the New Testament, right. The Catholic Church got it all. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying that everything they're doing is guided by the Holy Spirit, right? They're saying that these slaves, well, they weren't slaves at this time, but these West African, the word they used probably was like Saracen, I believe, because I'm off the top of my head right now, or pagan, right? They deserve to be subjugated and subjected and converted to Christianity. They were being done a favor. So that is.
So King J, let me ask you this.
That is their interpretation. Go ahead.
Can selective biblical instruction be the equivalent to Christianity itself?
So what you're going to try to do is apply our modern 21st century definition of Christianity and logic.
No, I'm just asking you a question, bro. It's just a yes or no. Can selective biblical instruction be the equivalent of Christianity itself?
Selective, no. Selective, no. But I'm not randomly selecting.
I appreciate it.
I'm not randomly selecting text.
No. I'm not talking about what you're doing. I'm talking about what we know for a fact was done.
Well, no, they didn't select way before the slave Bible, right? 1840, before.
Not even talking about the slave Bible. Slave Bible was mostly in the Caribbean. But they got their hands onto it in North Carolina, I believe. But when we talk about, I believe it's Cochran, whatever his name is, that writes the instructions that teaches that, tells the slave owners that, look, hey, it's not a bad thing to convert your slaves to Christianity. It makes them more docile. So I'm going to show how they actually use Christianity as a tool to make the slave more docile on the plantation. And you're going to show that they taught our ancestors, they taught enslaved African Americans the entire corpus of the biblical text. You're going to show that.
So you're making different arguments. I'm going to take you. I'm going to walk you down.
Just asking if you're going to show that.
I'm going to walk you down, brother, from 1400s all the way to 1842.
And you're going to show that in all that walking down you're going to show that they gave our African American ancestors the entire corpus of the biblical text.
No, actually, I'm going to argue at different stages that those slaves didn't know none of the text.
Hold on, say that part one more time.
I said, actually, I'm going to show it at the beginning in different stages of time that those West African slaves, especially the ones in Angola, didn't know none of the text. How could they know the text when they're forcibly come?
Stop right there for me. Stop
right there. Let's stay right there.
You do not understand. I couldn't make you understand if I wanted to how much I appreciate that you just said that. That they didn't know or have any understanding of the text. Is that what you're saying?
Not at that point. Those Angola slaves at 16, 19, 16. No, they did not. All they knew was
So
whatever indigenous African, because you brother, they're being converted. How will the POWs not gonna
hold
know?
on. How can you convert to something that you don't even understand?
By force. See, you see how you making my argument? By force.
That's
When those listen,
no, you making my argument, brother.
no, I'm not. No,
If
I'm
I
not.
don't understand something, how can I genuinely be that?
By force. By forceful conversion. So listen, when I show you on the shores of West Africa and Angola, right? Those missionaries that they come down the line and they have these mass slaves standing outside and they're coming through one by one, putting salt on their tongue and sprinkling them with holy water, doing mass baptisms, right? That those slaves don't know nothing about being Christians, but they are Christians. They're given Christian names.
They
They're
can
being
be. Hold up, brother.
they
So you
can't be.
saying
They can't be.
that these slaves didn't confess salvation in Christ, didn't accept Christ as their Lord and Savior, none of that, because clearly they didn't, because they didn't even understand what was happening. And you
They made them,
still calling them
brother.
Christians?
Brother, I'm going to show you that while these missionaries were standing there converting them, the military was standing right there making them convert. You think those missionaries were standing out there without them?
Listen, hear me out. I'm with everything you're saying. The only thing we disagree on is that you can actually become a Christian genuinely
Through force,
through
by force.
force.
Okay. Well, not only they did. Islam was spread by the sword in West Africa. Christianity was spread by the yes, forceful conversion.
And I'm
Forceful
saying,
conversion.
and
Get down
my
and lay
position,
down. I'm gonna learn about it later.
my
You feel
position
me?
is you couldn't genuinely be a Christian if you were forced to be that. It don't even correlate with what being a Christian is.
So when those 16, 19 Jamestown slaves got over here, they was Christians, and they made the argument that until that, and that was the whole. And we're gonna talk up until 1662, 67. They made that argument. The literate ones, at least, made the argument like, look, we are Christians. They did make the argument. We are Christians. You can't enslave us, right? Christians can't enslave Christians. Hence, now we're going to talk about the legal legislation that was legislated so that they could,
I
right?
just want
Okay.
to make sure. I just for the audience sake. This just for the audience sake.
Mm-hmm.
Just real quick again.
Yes.
You said that these people was being converted and they didn't even know what was going on, didn't have no understanding of the text, didn't know what was happening.
Not at all.
My man.
All they know because this is what a forcible conversion is in DMG.
Listen,
Your argument is that they willingly
appreciate what you saying.
accepted Christian.
I appreciate what you're saying so much, bro. I can like,
brother, it doesn't help your argument at all.
Oh, I dare say,
Right, so,
brother, it doesn't help your argument at all.
I dare say, if you don't understand what's happening, let me ask you this.
That would if they understood, that would be more so what going supporting your argument, because they would be making a decision of accepting it.
My argument ain't that happened until after 1800.
Yeah, no, I'm showing it. I'm gonna show it in the 16.
You have an argument, King J, that our ancestors made a conscious decision to become Christians, but not till after 1800. My argument is that what you're describing is not Christianity. It does not fit the criteria to be Christianity.
Yes, it does.
So hold on. I dropped the link in the chat, so people are gonna hopefully hit the link soon. You guys can keep talking, but hopefully the link is in the chat. So if you want to come in, say who you got. If there's any questions or comments, you can do.
Hey, Jose, I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say this real talk.
Yeah.
This brother King J is thorough, bro. We got to get him over to the channel more, man.
I appreciate it. It's definitely going to be a good debate. You know what I'm saying? A lot of information is going to be, so this was just the face off. We just threw with some light jabs. I got some scriptures for him. I'm familiar with this argument. I know this is not his whole argument, but I'm ready for him.
Right. So the link is in the
hey,
chat.
listen.
Anybody who wants to come in can hit that link.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, brother. And this just you know, just throwing this out here, right? When you say that these people they didn't even know what was going on, and yet they were, in fact, Christians. I got a couple of questions, and I kind of want to see, you know, where you at as it relates to the teachings of Christ and Christianity, etc. Because again, it's a criteria.
Question,
right?
because when you say
And
Chris, so
by virtue of you saying,
go ahead. No, I was going to say.
Let me get it out. Let me get it
Okay.
out. Do you think, because again, Christianity is about the teachings at its core, the life, death, and resurrection and teachings of one Jesus Christ. Are you familiar with Matthew 7 and 12?
I am.
Okay. Can you recite it for me?
Oh, I'm not familiar enough where I can recite it off the top of my head. No, I'm not.
Okay. So Matthew 7 and 12 says, I read it, and if, Jose, if you want to look it up and share it on the screen, you can, but I can read it right quick. And this is just a quick, this ain't the whole verse. So, excuse me. Whatsoever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. I'm gonna give you the context, right? This is probably one of Jesus' most clearest ethical principles, right? In your opinion, because this is straight out of Jesus' mouth. This ain't one of his disciples. This is straight out his mouth. Again, the teachings of Jesus Christ, right? In your opinion, would a slaveholder willingly choose to be kidnapped, sold, beaten, permanently enslaved, maimed, all of the demeaning things we know our African-American ancestors went through? Because Jesus' core teaching was, whatsoever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them. Do you think those enslavers were willing to do that?
I think those enslavers used a Catholic theology that supported what they did. I don't think that they thought anything was wrong with anything that they did. I think that they thought that a person can do so whatever with their property as they so wish. Right?
So your answer is no, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha. I believe that, like I said, a person that they believe that a person could do so whatever with their property as they so wish.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Because to them, Jesus' teaching ain't mean nothing when it came to our ancestors.
I would say that Paul, when the issue came to Paul supported the chattel slavery doctrine because
sure?
he sent the slave back to the master, to his owner.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I'm positive. I'm positive. And I have that a slide for that. So we definitely gonna talk about that. So Paul, it's in support. Like, so there isn't a new doctrine created. you're going to try to argue from a different angle of theology as far as what we consider good, right? What a good Christian would do, right? Opposed to this act.
That ain't my argument at all, bro.
Uh,
Don't confuse it. Don't confuse it. And you brought up Paul. You know what? The Don of urban apologetics is telling me to save it for the debate because I'm so curious. I'm so curious about what you gonna say about Paul because see, here's the thing I like about people who bring up quotes from the Bible in terms of slavery. They never talk about what was said to the slave master and whether or not that's compatible with what the enslaver who enslaved our ancestors did. But we're going to talk about it in the debate.
Yeah, Paul definitely going to be brought up.
Link is in the chat. The link is in the chat. Hit the link if you got a question or comment for King J. If you got a question or comment for me. If you want to come up here, JJ, and tell the ice smiter how you going to smite his eye later on tonight, come on up. If you got any questions or comments for me or King J, hit the link. Now, Jose, is the time to ask questions to me or King J, and they need to be relevant to our upcoming debate.
I'll say this, now that I've listened, I don't think I need to ask you guys any questions. I think you pretty much lay down what your argument is and where you're going to go. So I don't really have any questions. But if no one comes in the next few minutes, since I'm trying to work on my presentation, and I do have a face-to-face with my brother, JJ7000, who despite me going against him, he is a great debater. So I'm not taking that away from him. But I'm looking to take that title home and take some of that bass out of that brother's voice. So if no one wants to come in the next few minutes, I'm gonna well, look, our brother's here.
Hey,
good day, my brother. How are you? Talk to us.
We got my brother, Mr. Phil Fox, in the building. What's up, bro? You got a question or comment for me or King J?
Yeah. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. Yeah. So yeah, I apologize. I'm driving and out trying to get stuff together for my family, but yeah, I just had I just had a comment about our brother and his use of the papal bulls. I happen to be familiar with the papal bulls he's talking about. He's talking about the two papal bulls that were in the 1400s, just around the time that Columbus was sailing to quote unquote discover, when he got lost at sea, and he discovered the quote New World. And he's talking
maybe about 50 years before then, 1452 and 1455. The Divertus and the Romans.
Divertus was in 53.
Yep.
And then so there's no doubt that the crown at that time, who didn't make a move without the Pope, that was their desire, was to, but again, they had to have some kind of justification and reason why any of these explorers would go out. So they had to make it worth their while to be able to go out and give them a reason to go out and discover these lands, right? So that's why there's the verbiage of the subjugate and enslave and vanquish and all those things. So yes, it was their desire, but I think where you're misinterpreting that, where you're misinterpreting all of this, is the outcome. So your premise is that because of these documents, they were successful in enslaving all of the African Americans, and they were successful not in just enslaving them, but they were also successful in converting all of these African Americans and all of these indigenous peoples whom I represent, because I am indigenous, I am Native American. I come from the Mandan, the Hidatsa, and the Arikara people, which lands I currently live on now as I'm living on my homelands. And that's where I'm coming from and coming to you live from at this moment, is the lands of the Mandan, Hidatsa, and Arikara people. I come from the Locat people, and I am a child of the Chicken Clan, the Prairie Chicken Clan. And I can tell you firsthand that if these papal bulls, as you say, were successful in converting everyone that they touched, because that's your premise, because that's why African Americans are Christians, right? That means that the papal bulls then had to be successful in converting every single indigenous person as well, which I can tell you from first-hand experience that we are not all converted into Christianity. Actually, there is a large population of my indigenous people that are not Christians, and more so, again, are disputing your outcome. There was a whole movement called Kill the Indian and Save the Man that was coined by General Pratt, who was a US government agent himself. And that was his philosophy, was to kill the Indian and save the man. So based upon your arguments, there was a whole movement, right, called the boarding school system. There were no boarding schools for African Americans. This was the actual repercussions and ramifications of those said documents. This was the lived out version of said documents, the papal bulls, where the United States government was trying to forcibly convert all of the indigenous children. And therefore, they were not successful, because there are still large pockets of indigenous children that do not ascribe to or are even influenced by Christianity. Actually, there are large swaths of indigenous people and indigenous Americans who do not want anything to do with Christianity, largely in part because of those boarding schools that happened. Now, you can say they were forced by slavery and whatnot, but another thing that you need to also deal with is the fact that Christianity was in Africa years and years and years and even centuries before chattel slavery happened in America. So those are two things that I would say that you're misinterpreting and misusing the papal bulls, and moreover, the outcomes of said papal bulls in your argumentation.
Okay,
King
Phil,
Jay,
Should I respond to that?
Jay respond, and then we got Hoodoo up here as well, Jose.
I know.
I appreciate the brother. That was a very intelligent response. It shows that the brother actually, watched the listen to our debate. I mean, our face off, and it had some interest into it. So I definitely appreciate that. Definitely tune in next week for the actual debate. You'll be able to see a lot more of my primary resources and information. I think it does make a difference in regards to the African American struggle and the Native Indian struggle in regards to the papal bulls. I would make some distinguishment in regards to how the effect actually affected the two. If you did miss when I spoke about the 1450, the Elmina Castle of 1483, where they had the baptism mandates of John Barbeau, right, where the slaves, the Angola slaves in particular, were forced to be baptized, right, under and accepting the whatever Catholic tenets of Jesus Christ, right. So they left the shores of West Africa as Christians, right, before they even made it.
Are these the people who you said didn't know what was going on?
Yeah, how could they? Yep. Listen, hold on. I'm gonna give you a modern kind of analogy, like in a gang where we're like get down or lay down, right? A gang may see another gang and convert them. Be the jump. Look, he gonna figure out the laws later, right? Is you finna be with us or not? So, especially by force, he don't at that moment he doesn't know the other gang's literature or laws or custom, but he gonna figure it out, or you finna die right now. So once that example was set a few times on the shores of West Africa, in regards to the Portuguese and the Catholic missionaries, once they set that example a few times, uh, they caught on,
Hey,
So
real quick before we go to Hoodoo, hey, Brother Phil, I don't know
No.
if you caught it, but the brother said they were converted, but they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know. So
that was going to be my question. Is so we need to define then what conversion is, because
a forceful conversion.
to simply say I'm going to be dunked by water does not mean then now all of a sudden they adhere to all the tenets and and basically walk as a Christian. Like,
Well, they
that's
did.
a misnomer.
Well, no, because you have. I'm going to take you step by step. So the reason, and we have to realize the reason why, and I'm going to tell you and show you the reason why.
So basically, you're
conversion.
arguing that assimilation is conversion.
I'm going to show you that.
Then you're going off topic.
The argument is forceful conversion.
But assimilation and conversion are two separate things.
So I'm talking about militarily, me holding your gun. What's your name?
My name is Phil Fox, or you can call me Ma'an Haggadah.
Phil Fox. I'm talking about me coming up to you and holding a gun to your head, Phil, and saying.
So then you're talking assimilation. Then that's not conversion.
Well, that's the title of it. No, I'm talking conversion.
No, conversion is when I it's a heart posture. It's a heart stance. That's conversion. What you're talking about is
that the definition?
Assimilation.
What definition? Is that a Merriam-Webster definition, or is that your own personal feeling about the word?
Well, go ahead. Look. I mean, you can look it up. I'm driving, so I'm sorry.
I have PowerPoint. So my first slides are all definitions. So we're going to establish what Christianity is. We're going to establish what chattel slavery is. We're going to establish what all these words are, right? So,
I'm trying to come to terms with the fact that my brother, and I believe King J is a very astute brother. I believe he is to be taken serious. That being said, I real quick, Hurt. It ain't about the kids, bro. It's about getting more within the algorithm so we can get them subscribers up and get these numbers up. Being that you present over here all the time, you should want that too. But
yo, fam, I gotta jump. I'll listen to your response in the chat, but I gotta jump, fam. But I just wanted to go on and come on and say that piece. Appreciate you, DMG. Much love, fam. I'll be around soon, man, bro.
All right, bro. Appreciate it.
God bless you, everybody.
Judging by the chat, it looks like Pastor Troy and King Hurt might want to jump in the ring and have a debate or a discussion. I don't know.
Neither one of them actually debate, so that ain't gonna happen. But we can set up a conversation if they open to it.
I think we could do that.
Because neither one of them, King Hurt ain't gonna debate. But I just want to say I'm loving the fact that my brother openly admitting that these people didn't know what was going on. And
so I have a question, right?
Let me get it out, and we're gonna go right to you, King J.
Okay.
I'm loving that the brother is saying that these people did not know what was going on, and I'm just gonna need him to show, because it's on record now, they didn't know what was going on. I'm gonna need him to show how someone can actually, factually convert to Christianity as defined and not know what's going on. I'm not talking about being held hostage being told I'm gonna blow your brains out if you don't say something. Because again, I always go back to Friday and Smokey and Debo. He like, shoot, when Debo walk away, I forget the whole joint, but
I'll be talking again.
You would say, yeah, I'll be talking again. You would say whatever you gotta say to get somebody up off of you. But do you actually believe what they telling you to believe under duress? And in particular, Christianity, as again defined, as demonstrated before the transatlantic slave trade ever happened. Can you convert? Can you become a Christian and not know what's going on? I hope the brother can demonstrate it. Go ahead, King J. It's on you.
Yeah, we definitely going to see the demonstration next week. So I'm excited to show. I think it's pretty easy. I don't think it's a problem at all. When we look at a lot of conversions, especially being born into something, and I think that was the reason for a lot of the laws that were passed to West, that the children could be born into perpetual slavery, right? Into perpetual chattel slavery, unknowingly, right? Not knowing this, right? Yeah, I'm going to show that the Muslim, like I don't think this is a very sound argument. I hope you don't bring it up in the actual debate. But this was just a face-off, so I understand. I'm going to show how the 30% of West Africans that came over as Muslims, whether they practiced the Ifa tradition, right? Whatever indigenous traditional knowledge system that they did practice, once they hit the shores of America, they were converted, whether forcefully or through institutionalized, converted to Christianity. Christianity, I will be able to show, was used as a means to control these slaves, to make them more docile to their master, and they use the text to support their theology. So I don't. That's not a problem at all. So yeah,
DMG at this point.
Also, hold on, and I wanted to break this. I wanted. Wait. I had a brain freeze. I'm not done. Hold on. Let me get my point out. This is our face-off. Also, I wanted to say that the slave masters oversaw these things, right? So if they didn't know, they were being taught by the slave masters what the scriptures meant, right? What interpretations were the right interpretations, because they were controlling their literacy, right? Most of these slaves couldn't read. So when they gathered, right, nothing indigenous was allowed, no drums, no traditional clothing, none of that was allowed. So they stripped away all of whatever indigenous knowledge or whatever Islamic, whatever traditional system, that African system that they came with, right? Because they had no knowledge of Christianity. So they're gonna be their slave. And when we talk about chattel slavery, right? Do you know that the property has no rights? It has no right to think. It has no right to control anything, right? So understand that when we talk about definitions of words, how these things matter. So as property, they had no opinion, right? So their opinion don't matter no way.
King J,
do you understand that? So you're asking me how can
appreciate with everything you're saying right now, bro.
You're asking how can somebody that doesn't have an opinion matter? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because again, we talking about Christianity. We're gonna provide definitions thereof. We're gonna show the teachings of Christianity from the very person who it's established on, as well as his followers. And I don't know how someone who doesn't have an opinion can't make a conscious choice from what you're saying.
So look, if we look at the must about
can be something. that, like, if I ain't got a conscious choice to say whether I'm a Christian or not, then yeah, bro, this gonna be a good debate, man, and I appreciate your participation.
So do you see how people can be born into things that they don't know anything about? Right. So say you're the first generation, and you were forcibly converted, right? Not knowing nothing about Christianity. You have children, right? Right. You have children that don't know anything as well, right? But they're taught what it is, correct? You're taught what it is. That's the whole thing. You don't know. That's why you're able to be taught these things, and that's why they were keeping you illiterate. So we will have a good debate, and I don't. This is gonna be that. I think those are like my first two slides that I did with this right here. So I have about 25 slides total, I think, for my total presentation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, real quick, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere, King J. Real quick, family. Listen, we got the one and only Paradigm Shift, not Worldview Wars, but Paradigm Shift TV 314 debate champ in the building. Now, before the brother tell Jose how he gonna smite his eye tonight, and in a debate coming up, I gotta play something to let y'all know what the shift got going on, because we got a lot of good stuff coming, and I just want y'all to be aware, man. We got my brother Easy Bands taking on my brother Nathaniel Hughes. Is there really an Islamic dilemma? Is what the brothers will be debating. Matter of fact, let me stop talking. I'm just gonna show y'all, and then we're gonna let the champ speak his speak. No profanity, JJ. No profanity. No personal shots. I gotta tell the champ that, because y'all know he be ready to go. But check us out.
Watching Paradigm Shift TV.
Paradigm shift. TV 314. We ain't just making content. We moving culture.
The shift don't stop.
Let's go.
The shift don't stop, we keep the truth on lock. Building every day, we ain't watching no clock. Knowledge over noise, let the whole world watch.
Paradigm Shift TV.
The shift don't stop.
The shift don't stop, yeah, we raising the bar. Turning every microphone into a shooting star. From the city to the globe, know exactly who we are. Paradigm Shift TV.
We taking it far.
Welcome to the movement where the facts get tested. Weak arguments fall when the pressure gets invested. Every conversation sharpen minds like a weapon. Building independent thinkers every single lesson. The infamous
All right, I just wanted to give y'all a little preview of what we got coming up. You see my man Easy Bands taking on Nathaniel Hughes. We got some Christian on Muslim intellectual violence. Is there really an Islamic dilemma? We got the eye smiter challenging JJ 7000, aka the mighty Mandinka Molly, for the Paradigm Shift TV 314 title. Sunday, we got Big Hemi defending the Worldview Wars Debate League social media title against my man Raymo Yaya Bantu. We got a lot of stuff coming up. You know, me and King J next Friday, me and Haru Conscious, we'll be having a similar debate. Were the people who enslaved African Americans Christians? So a lot of the information you're going to see in the debate with King J will overlap to the debate with Haru Conscious on the 26th. Hopefully we'll have y'all here for all of it. But right now, and I got to do this, y'all. I got to do this. You know, feel how you feel about it, like it, love it, be indifferent to it. But guess what?
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
It's on you, JJ.
All right, peace and blessings, man. The champ is here. That's right, man. And yeah, man, I'm enjoying the look you guys' discourse going back and forth. I just had a question for, you know, both of y'all. My first question was for King J, and then I got one for you, DMG. King J, how do you explain enslaved Africans who maintain Islam, Voodoo, and other traditional traditions alongside each other instead of Christianity? Why wasn't they forced?
In secrecy. I believe I have a slide, 1842. I'll show Ibn Muhammad, how they were, when he came to this country, he actually wrote a 82-page, he wrote a book in Islam, but his slave owners thought that it was going to be a Christian book. So a lot of times it was in secrecy. They would publicly, practice Christianity, and then in private, hold to their whatever tenets that they did have.
Okay.
So they really was like Smokey.
Okay. Question for you, DMG. How do you respond to records of slaveholders banning African religious gatherings while mandating Christian instruction?
I think the brother just said it.
He just said it.
Yeah, he just answered it. They still did what they wanted to do in secret because they tell you that the enslaver was full of it. They tell you that the enslaver was a hypocrite. They tell you that the enslaver, I think it's one quote from one of the slave narrators, what she say, masters say, be obedient and be good and you will get your reward in heaven. He ain't never say we was going to be free in heaven. They knew the enslaver was full of it. This is how you know they made a conscious decision to become Christians, because it wasn't because of the enslaved.
So it wasn't because it was the only thing that they were allowed to practice in public?
Well, it don't matter if it's the only thing you're allowed to practice in public. What matters is they had other practices that they were doing, and they could have kept doing those and just pretended to be Christians, but that ain't what they did.
What about the ones that didn't know? That all they knew was Christianity, but instead of finding the slave Bible, the edited version, they got their hands on the unedited version, right? So either way, they're still falling upon Christianity. They just getting
So wait a minute. If there was an edited Bible where they omitted scriptures, which means it ain't Christianity because it ain't the whole corpus of the text, and then they got the whole text and said, I'm rocking with this, again, that's a decision they made because it wasn't given to them by the enslaver. And you would have to show me where that was the only thing they knew.
Okay, well, hold that argument. Save that argument for the debate if that's what you want to stand on. Because I don't think that's a good one. Because most time, I'm sorry, most time the slave was born into Christianity. That was their only option, right? So what? No matter the version of Christianity that they're getting, it's still Christianity, right?
Huh?
So, what do you mean, huh? Whatever version of it they're getting, is still Christianity. Whether it's
So,
they get
King J, since you said that, so if I cherry pick Sora's
So
out of
you
the
saying,
Quran,
the ones that got their hands on Christianity got their hands on the real Christianity, and it was
I
be
just want to ask
and it
you,
was really
ask my question. If I cherry pick Sora's out of the Quran, or the, let's say, the Kemetic tradition, I cherry pick spells out of that. I'm not giving you the entire Haru, pyramid text, coffin text. I'm not giving you all of that. Now, I'm not giving you Ptah, all of Ptah. I'm just cherry picking it, and I'm only using surahs or spells or whatever I'm getting out of these spiritual texts. I'm only cherry picking the ones that would be in line with what I want you to do. If I want you to be obedient, I'm picking those. If I want you to serve me, I'm picking those. But I don't give you the whole corpus of the text. Can I call you a Kemetic practitioner? Can I call you a Muslim? In good faith, can I actually call you this thing I'm supposed to be teaching you, but I'm not teaching you completely?
so. If I gave you Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, and it's where I'm sorry, if I gave you Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, where it says male and female slaves are to come from the nations around you, does that mean to you that the text says that you're not allowed to have slaves?
Is that your answer to my question?
No, I want you to answer that question because it kind of
So
is.
you're not gonna answer my question?
Well, it kind of is the answer to your question.
Well, go ahead and answer my question.
Could you rephrase it again for me, brother? Because I want to give you a concise answer.
Okay, so if I cherry pick, and my man who's an actual Muslim just answered it, but I want to see what your answer gonna be. If I cherry pick surahs out of the Quran, and I only pick the ones that are in line with what I want you to do. In other words, I want you to obey me. So I pick the surahs that say, obey me. I want you to serve me. I pick the surahs that say, you should serve me. I only pick those. And I say that I'm teaching you Islam. Are you still going to be considered a Muslim given that I didn't give you the whole corpus of the Quran? I only cherry picked surahs that were in line with what I wanted you to do. Are you still going to be considered a Muslim? It's a Muslim in the chat who says no.
What
What
I
does
think,
King J say?
but I think that's a straw man in a way because it doesn't really have anything to do. Because
But
my
what's your
argument,
answer, though? Let's say it's a straw man. What's your answer?
Well, my argument is that it doesn't have any. My argument is that.
No. But
Well, no, my
just
answer,
a face to face. What's your
my
answer?
I'm gonna give you a direct answer. My answer to that would be that slavery is built fundamentally into the text. They're not cherry picking text. They're not cherry.
I got
That
you.
is the answer. They're not cherry picking text because this is something that's
Would you
fundamentally
still
built
be
into
considered
their
a Muslim,
doctrine.
though?
That's not the answer question.
Given what I asked you, would you still be considered a Muslim?
That's a totally different question. That has
Okay,
nothing to do.
let's say that's true. Humor me and just give me an answer.
I would say no. You cherry pick the text. Anything can be taken out of context.
I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
I
You
appreciate
can take
it.
anything out of context and misuse it, of course.
Okay. I appreciate you saying that.
Yep.
Don't
But
forget you said it.
that's not my argument. My argument is that this is fundamentally built into their ideology, and so
I got you.
you're gonna have to deal with Leviticus 25. You're gonna have to deal with Ephesians 6, where it says slaves obey your earthly masters. So
I'm
can
literally gonna deal with, because again, when we read slaves obey your earthly masters, there's more to that. because it also tells the masters how. Because again, we're talking ancient times in the context of slavery, and there's some instructions. There's some instructions for the slave master that we never heard about.
So slavery is in. So slavery, but
give me a second. We never hear what they tell the master to do to the enslaved, and I'm gonna see if these people who enslaved our ancestors did what the Bible says slave master should do to their slaves.
But it is in the text, right? Slavery.
I don't understand the point of asking whether or not slavery.
I gotta introduce you, hear me? I gotta introduce you, bro.
Hold on. I want you to answer it. I want you to answer it, DMG, before you introduce him.
Real quick. I'm gonna answer you. I promise.
DMG. My laptop is about to die, so I'm gonna get out of here. So JJ,
all right, Jose, we'll see you later on, man. JJ say he gonna smite your eye, Jose. What you say to that?
You can't smite the eye, smite his eye. You don't do that. That's backward.
All right, we're gonna see you later on,
You don't
Jose.
do that. All right, peace.
All right. So he asked, was it in the text? Yes, it's in the text in the context of its time, literally in the time it was written.
Okay, so slavery is in the, okay.
It's not talking about chattel slavery in the context of what our African American ancestors went through, but yes, it's in the text.
But yes, we are, because chattel slavery. Go ahead. Okay.
Let me introduce the Worldview Wars Debate League social media champion. The one, the only, I call him the best biblical debater in the community, the one, the only Big Hemi.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
It's on you, champ.
Yo, what up, DMG? What up, King J? Who else that is on the panel?
JJ.
What up, JJ? Yeah, man, what's up to y'all, man? I just came up here because this is an interesting conversation. You know, I had a debate on this topic before too, and it's just interesting that what the brother's trying to use is just because slavery was mentioned in the Bible, that means that that's what was being taught during chattel slavery, and I don't think that's the case. It's completely different.
If I can tap in right quick, and then I'm gonna go on mute and let you rock. JJ, I'm gonna step away for a second once I go on mute. Run the panel for me. It's interesting too that we always hear them say, "Slave, obey your master," but we never hear what it said. The slave master how they should treat their slaves, and I feel like they shouldn't even bring that up unless they're gonna bring up how the slave master was told to treat their slaves, because that is not in line with what the enslaver of our African American ancestors did. But go ahead, Hemi. JJ, run the panel for me. I'll be right back.
What you think about the point he just made, King J?
I was gonna respond and say that when we get to talking about perpetual life servitude, that is chattel slavery in the Bible. So I wanted him to deal with Leviticus 25, where it talks about male and female slaves, of course, being able to be, picked upon, nations from amongst, from around them. I wanted him to deal with Exodus 21, where 2 through 4, where it talks about if the indigenous slavery, because we're gonna talk about Christians being able to enslave other Christians as well, right? So we're gonna talk about how. Sorry, they're blowing up around me. We're gonna talk about how they. Hold on one second. We're gonna talk about how they created laws to be able to legally enslave the slaves. So I don't. So yeah, so we'll talk about Exodus 21.
I guess my question is.
I'm sorry, I had to walk away, but hold on, I lost a thought. But no, to answer your question properly, in Exodus 21, where they talk about the indentured servitude of another Hebrew for another Hebrew being given the wife, a foreign wife, and the wife and the child being able to be kept for perpetual servitude for a lifetime is chattel slavery. The husband can stay if he decides to. So I just like the doctrine is in the Bible from its inception, from the core. So I'm going to argue that they didn't create anything; they just enforced what was already in the Bible. So I want you. I want him to be able to deal with that and what chattel slavery actually is.
No. But I guess what I'm saying is the point of whether slavery is mentioned in the Bible or not doesn't mean that Christianity was given to us by slave masters. That's the point I'm trying to make. And I think the point he made to you when he said, if I use anything, I can take anything out of any book and use it for whatever purpose I intend to, that it was not meant to in the book. Right? Because Christianity is not about being a slave to people. You see what I'm saying? So
But it
you can,
exists in the text.
that
So
doesn't it existed, but listen to what I said carefully. I said Christianity is not about human beings being slaves to people. That's not a major part of Christianity. It has
I don't think that's what our debate is about neither. I don't think our debate is about what Christianity means. The title of our debate is: was Christianity forced upon African slaves? Was it forced upon? That's that title of the debate, not the nuances of
right,
what Christianity and what
right.
Christianity mean. Hold on. Not the nuances of Christianity and what Christianity means. That's not what the debate is about. It's about
Yeah, but you have to know what Christianity is. How can you debate? Listen,
we
what?
do.
No. So what is Christianity?
We do.
What is Christianity?
Brother, were you watching the debate when we went over all this? When we
I'm
went over,
asking you. Yes, but
the
I'm asking
brother.
you a question directly.
I don't feel like repeating everything. When we're talking about this particular time period, we're talking about a Catholic theology. When we're talking about a Trinitarian outlook in regards to Jesus.
You think they taught that to the slaves?
They baptized them in the name of Jesus Christ. Yes.
You think they taught that to the slaves?
Hear me. Don't do this, man. Don't do
Do
this.
I think that when the slaves gathered for Christian gatherings that was taught to them?
I didn't ask you
The tenets of Christianity.
what the slaves did when they gathered. I said, do you think that what you just said was taught to the slaves by the slave master?
At what period of
Do you
time?
think Jesus' divinity, him being being
At what
God,
period of time?
the Trinity of any of that? Do you think that that's what was being taught to the slaves, or do you think that they were just teaching them like what you said to obey their master?
At what period of time?
Pick one.
You asked the question. I want you to be specific in your question.
I'm saying whatever you just said. This
At
is
any
part of y'all
time
discussion.
during slavery in the antebellum South.
You say what now?
At any time during slavery in what became and what was the antebellum South.
Did the slave have to follow the whatever Christian doctrine and theology that was in place? Yes.
Did they
couldn't when they
teach
gathered
African American slaves? I'll rephrase it for complete clarity.
When
Did
they
they
passed
teach African American slaves that Jesus Christ was their personal Lord and Savior?
Yeah. When they after they passed the laws of 1667 that forbid anything else but Christianity to be preached in the marketplace and areas, no more drums, no more African traditions. What do you think? What type of version of Christianity are you thinking they're giving them?
You said no more drums.
So at that point, I'll go ahead, Henry. My bad.
No, you said there was no more drums and stuff. So with all of the hymns, and so you do understand that the hymns and all of that stuff. That's right. Remember, I don't know if you've ever attended a church like a Baptist church or whatever. Like, remember they used to have the hymn book and stuff like that. Where did that
I was
come
born in a
from?
Baptist church.
Okay, so where did that stuff come from? Tradition, right? But those were African. That's not what they weren't taught that by
What
the
was
slave
African
masters.
tradition?
The hymns. the songs that were being sing. That if you ever had a hymn book, you
So
said
the
that they
so the so,
removed
so
it.
the
You
wait wait
said
wait
they
wait.
passed.
So you're saying
Listen
the
what I'm
script?
saying.
So you're saying no? I'm listening. So you're suggesting what scripture is added was a Negro spiritual that was added to the Bible.
When did I say that? I specifically talked. You said that when they passed the law to remove no more African drums, no more whatever. So I'm telling you
Uh-huh.
that the tradition they carry, they still sung hymns, did chants, did stuff like that. As you know that we had hymn books in the
They
Baptist
sung
church.
Christian hymns.
Yeah,
They sung
yeah,
Christian hymns.
right. That was not taught to them by the slave
Right. So they're
masters.
being indoctrinated.
What do you,
So whoa whoa
brother?
whoa 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 whoa
You're
whoa.
not
Yes,
listening to what I'm
wait 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 wait
saying.
wait.
The
So
hymns
they're
that
going to
they
the
were singing
marketplace
were
in
not
front of the
taught to them
Christian.
by the slave masters.
So they made up their own version of Christianity,
Exactly.
or did they use the hymns to
Exactly. No, you just said it right.
or did
You
they
just
made up
said
their
it
own version
right.
of Christianity?
You just said it right. You just said it right. They made up their own version of Christianity. They took
And
what they were.
what text did they create?
I didn't say they created text. We're talking about doctrine, belief.
We're talking about theology at this point.
Because
here's the thing, and I think King J agrees that they didn't give enslaved African Americans the entire corpus of the text.
Mm-hmm.
What we know for a historical fact is that it wasn't until after the year 1800 that enslaved African Americans became Christian in mass after the Second Great Awakening. What Hemi is trying to point out is once they got the entire corpus of the text for themselves and were literate, and they snuck out under the cover of night to have praise and worship services amongst themselves, hid at risk of life and limb, at risk of being sold away from their family, and all these other different punishments that would be incurred. Now, again, if you force somebody to do something, I don't know why they got to go hide and do it, but that's what our ancestors felt they had to do. Again, because they knew the difference between what the enslaver was providing in their little church service and what they was actually getting once they got the whole Bible. What Hemi is saying is the quote unquote, what you calling Christianity that the enslaver was doing and what our ancestors was doing was two different things, and we got their own testimony to prove it. What's your response to that, King J? Unmute your mic, bro. You muted, King J. The brother say he can't hear me.
Can you hear me?
I can hear me. King J, you might want to go out and come back in, bro. Go ahead, hear me. Let me tell him to go out and come back in.
Yeah. I don't know if he can hear me. If you can hear me, bro, yeah, you got to go out and come back in because we can't hear you. Or he might not be talking. He just saying he can't hear anything.
Yeah, he muted and he's saying that he in the private chat saying he can't hear me.
The ancestors might have got him.
You say the ancestors might have got him. That's the other thing that get me though, Hemi. It's like they don't got no respect for our ancestors.
Nah,
they claim they do. They claim they do, but when it this is how it works. This is how it works. Ancestors get all the respect in the world except for when it comes to them being Christians.
Right.
Go ahead, King J. Let's see if we can hear you.
Or he can hear us.
Unmute your mic, bro. Dang, he might still can't hear us. King J, unmute your mic.
I might have to type something else in the back. And he just type, I think.
I just asked him, can he hear us? That was me typing.
Oh.
But while we waiting on him to get his audio right, dang, he said he still can't hear us.
Maybe I got it. My bad, DMG. I came up here and disrupted the dang on thing, but he was
Man,
doing good.
You got the spirit of the ancestors on this man.
He was doing good. He was going good with the back and forth. Now he say he still can't hear. All right, I'm gonna drop down, bro. I'm gonna let y'all continue, bro. And once y'all finish, I come back up.
All right, bro. All right, I told our brother to check his audio. Not sure what's going on. We had it popping, and the brother ran into some issues. Let me tell him go out, check his audio, and come back. Yeah, don't know what's going on with the brother. But again, look, we got some content coming up for y'all, man. Easy Bands versus Nathaniel Hughes is going to be a big debate on July 18th. I believe that's at 2:15 p.m. July 18th. Definitely gonna be a powerful debate. King J, let me hear you.
Okay, yeah, I can hear you now.
Yep, you good. You good. Respond to me or him or whatever the last thing you heard was.
The last thing I heard from him, last response was in regards to, I believe to the being Christians. What is the conversion? I think I was talking about 1667 in the laws enacted in regards to stopping them from them in certain drums, certain expressions, and gatherings. Whereas Christianity was the only thing that was you could in public display. That's where I believe we left. That's where I had left off.
Come back up, Hemi. I'm gonna drop the link. So I would ask you, bro. Because you're the second person. Actually, Hey Rue Conscious, who I'm having the other conversation with, the other debate. He brought up them outlawing the drums, but you also just admitted that people would still practice whatever they was practicing in secret. And we know that that's historically accurate. So is the point that they outlawed the drums and all of that as pertinent as we try to make it, considering we know they still practice what they wanted to practice in secret?
Well, I think the pertinency is actually when we look at chronology and instead of, conflating history, it's like kind of what you're doing right now, conflating and everything. When we look at my information, yeah, because it matters. The time period matters, right? So when I'm talking about 1452, and you're talking about 1800, something that happens in 1847, and then a law that's passed in 1667, we jump in 200-300 times, years ahead.
I'll say this, and then I'll let you and him continue y'all conversation. I'll say this, and then I'll let y'all continue. When I bring up 1800, I'm simply pointing out the fact that everything you saying prior to that is almost rendered moot because our ancestors weren't Christian en masse before that.
They weren't Christian, right? So what's the name of what's the title of our debate, DMG? Was Christianity
forced on African American slaves?
Okay. Now, if you've already established the fact that some of the slaves didn't come already baptized as Christians, those who didn't were converted forcefully, correct? Because if it wasn't by force, they wouldn't have to practice in secrecy, correct?
So here's no. That's my point. If they were forced to practice Christianity, they wouldn't have to do it in secret.
So was there any other religion that was being allowed by law to be practiced besides Christianity? Yes or no?
Bro, I'm telling you, before 1800, before the Second Great Awakening, they were still practicing Islam and indigenous African practices before that.
Those that came over, I have the sources that too, the percentages as well. I'm going to break down what tribes, whether it's the Ifa tradition, whatever practices they had, whether we're talking about the Mandingo, whether we're talking about the Fulani, where I'm going to show.
When was it forced? When was it forced then?
It starts at the Elmina Castle, where the Catholic churches is built on top, and the slave dungeons are built in the bottom, and they're taking them out and lining them up on the beaches and getting rid of the ones who aren't fit and baptizing the other ones in the name of Jesus Christ. It starts right there.
But remember, you also
said
Angola.
It starts in Angola.
Those people didn't know what was happening, right?
Yeah, forceful conversion. That's most times we don't.
Let me ask Hemi a question, and then I'm gonna let y'all rock for a minute if you don't mind. Hemi, let me ask you something. And I just need your opinion. You ain't got to go too deep with it because I know y'all had a conversation y'all was having. If somebody from what you know about Christianity, and I know you very studied, in particular about what happened to our ancestors. And this go for anybody, not just our African ancestors, but anybody. Any belief. If someone is not cognizant, whether it's a language barrier, whether it's a threat of violence, let's combine those. There's threats of violence. There's a language barrier. There's distress because you're being taken by strange people from your homeland. All of these things are happening, and they are being told, here, you're getting baptized and you're a Christian. They don't know what's going on by the brother on their mission. Do you see anywhere in that scenario where somebody actually became a Christian?
No, because in order to become a Christian, there has to be faith, right? And that's the part, you can't force faith on anyone. You can force them to do what you want them to do, but you can't force them to believe anything.
Is there a certain amount of faith that's required, or do you just have to take the 10?
No, what I'm saying is that in order to be a Christian,
that's the question.
Listen, I'm answering you. In order to be a Christian, you have to the faith that's required is that you have to believe that Jesus died, right? And that He rose again, and that He is the way.
You take those tenets. You say those things, right? You say those things, right?
No, but you have to believe it. It's not that you just take it.
But the levels of faith vary, correct?
No.
Yes.
Listen to what I'm saying. You have to believe it.
But that's subjective.
No, it's not subjective. It says that the levels vary. It says believe. It says confess with your mouth and believe in your hearts.
Right, and nobody was deemed holy, and nobody was able to keep the law.
I'm not asking about who was holy or not. I'm talking about belief.
The levels of faith is subjective, so that's not even the point.
No, right. That's why Jesus said that there will be many. Listen. That's why Jesus said that there will be many that call me Lord, Lord, and I would respond to them that I do not know who you are, right? Because they don't believe in Him.
So you have So you have to believe in Jesus.
Exactly. So that's not. So you can't force someone to be a Christian. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yes.
If I listen, what I'm saying. You grew up. Hold on. Watch this.
Listen.
Okay. Why aren't you a Christian? Let's deal with you. Let's deal with you. Why aren't you a Christian?
Okay. I don't believe in religion. I don't believe in
exactly. But you grew up in a Baptist church where your grandmother, your mom, whoever forced you to go to church every Sunday.
He forced me to.
Fam, you had to go because they were going. It wasn't because you believed in what you were experiencing.
So you're making my point, right?
No, that's my point.
So what are you talking about?
You're not a Christian. You're on a mission. Listen,
You're not
fam.
a Christian, King J.
But
So was I raised one?
no, you were never a Christian. You were
Was
just
I
going to
raised
church,
one?
fam. You
So
were
you saying?
never
So
a Christian.
wait. Let's talk about
Oh
it
my
now. 'Cause
God,
I
you're
think you
not
messed up.
listening, fam.
I think you done messed up. So you're
How?
saying. So you're saying that I was raised a Christian, correct? Because my grandmama took
No,
me
you
to the
were
church.
never I'm saying you were never a Christian because
But
by
they
your own
raised me as
admission,
one, correct?
you
My
never
grandma raised
listen,
me as a
fam.
Christian, right?
No,
Real
but
quick, let's
oh my.
hear me out, and then King J, you're gonna be able to respond in full.
So this is what I'm saying, King J. By your own admission, you said you don't believe in religious stuff, whatever. So no matter what you experienced as a child, you didn't have faith in Jesus Christ, that He was your Lord and Savior, whatever. So you were just going through the motions. You weren't Christian. You went to church because your people took you to church. You didn't believe in the stuff that you were experiencing, that was being taught, that was around you. None of that. That's why, by your own admission, today you're not a Christian. So that's the same thing that you could say for the slaves. Just because they were experiencing something, they were being told something, don't make them Christian, bro. When they became Christians, is because they actually believed in what they had, what they were reading.
They be- they
And
believe the
King
only
J,
thing. Wait, now let me respond.
before you respond, King J, and you're gonna have however much time you need. And that's the crux of what we saying. If our ancestors was forced to go to church, to get baptized, to do all these things under duress by your own admission without even knowing what was going on, they couldn't have been Christians, and they couldn't have been given Christianity. Christianity is not a coercive thing. And this is the other part that's going to indict your argument. Our African American ancestors say the exact same thing. Go ahead, you got all the time you want.
No, I don't need to. I don't need much time because if I want you to include this in the debate so you can die on this point. I hope this is just a sparring point and not your main argument of your entire thesis. So if you only have one thing to believe in it, or only presenting one thing, then that you're not even making an actual choice, right? If Christianity is the only thing that these slaves are actually presented, the only option that they have, how are they making a choice? So of course, when they make the choice to become Christians, it's through institutionalized force. It's more than one force in physical force. But I'm going to show all the stages of force in the ways that they were forced to.
But
By
there's
the
proof.
implementation, I didn't cut you off. By the implementation of the laws of 1662 of chattel slavery, by the implementation of the laws of 1667, right? So we're going to talk about those laws in regards to how they felt as if they had to keep the slaves that were coming over that were literate, right? Docile, right? Convert them, right, into to become a Christian, right, so that they could better control them. So at that point, that's a forceful conversion. So we'll talk about Omar Muhammad. We'll talk about a few other Islamic slaves that came over from Senegal in the 1800s that came over as Muslims that were forcefully converted to be Christians. But we're going to start at 14 in the 1400s and work our way up to the 1483 Elmina Castle. We're going to start with the 1687 Giovanni Visual, where they have the missionaries baptizing the Angolan slaves after they've been forcefully defeated, kidnapped, and captured, and branded, and given Christian names. We're going to look at the 1624 muster roll, right, where we see how their names were changed from whatever indigenous African name, and they were given Christian names. So that's the forceful conversion before they even set their foot on American soil. Before they even get to America, they're Christians, right? Whether they can are familiar with the doctrine or not, when those 1619 Jamestown 30 got here, they got here as Christians, right? So later, and it doesn't even take but 20 to 30 years for these other laws to be implemented, as to whereas they are allowing other Christians to be enslaved by other Christians, which goes against their text, right? So it shows that they're going by text, right? So when they're enslaving these these African slaves in West Africa, when the Dumas verses in 1452, 53 is passed, it's based off of Leviticus 24, 25, 44, 46. It's based off of Ephesians 6 through 5. It's based off of Peter 2 through 8. You know what I'm saying? These are the same laws that Peter enforced, Paul enforced. We're going to talk about Paul.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Paul, because let me ask you something. Are you familiar with? Because I know you say you recited the slaves obey your master, right? Are you familiar with what Paul said to the enslaved?
First Peter. I'm very familiar. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk. Look. I ain't trying to get the whole.
So with you being familiar with it, would you say that's what the people who enslaved our ancestors did? Did they follow that?
I believe that they followed, that they felt as if they weren't doing anything wrong.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen, bro. I'm not asking if you feel like they felt they did something wrong. I'm asking what Paul said, slave obey your master.
Yes.
Did the people who enslaved our ancestors follow what Paul said and enslavers should do, how they should treat their slaves? Did they do that?
Yeah, when Paul sent the slave back, he sent them back and told the slave to do what the master said. So he enforced First Peter.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
He avoiding talking about the behavior of the slave master. You keep responding saying what the slave did. What he's asking is, did the slave master adhere to Paul?
He gonna put it in his slide. We got 2 tens. Look, I ain't gonna lie, brother. It's a lot. It's a lot.
You said you was familiar with it. real quick. Because you said
you talk about First
with
Timothy,
it, right? So since
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
I feel comfortable asking you.
Okay.
So did the people who enslaved African Americans, did they conduct themselves the way Paul said a slave master should conduct themselves as it pertains to how they treat their slaves?
To their property?
It's just a yes or no.
To their property?
It's just a yes or no.
They say you can treat your property as a man can treat his property as such. That's I would say yes. When he sends the slave back, yeah, I would agree. I would say that Paul opposed the doctrine. Hold on.
I appreciate you, brother. I can't tell you, like, this is, you said Paul, that the enslavers, the people who enslaved our ancestors, followed the instructions Paul gave on how a slave master should treat their slaves. That's what you just said?
I think he said, yeah. But he said, hold on, he got to come back. I think he's finna look for that passage. He on Google right now.
he better.
Yeah, I don't think. Mind you, I'm in the middle. Hold on, brother. I'm in the middle of a tornado. I'm trying to hold this thing up. Hold on.
Oh man, you good?
No, I'm good.
No, he ain't talking about like a tornado, like rain and stuff. He talking about
like
what was happening. He talking about what's happening right now.
Oh.
You hear me, DMG?
You stupid. Yeah, I heard you. You stupid. You stupid. You stupid. Hey, but listen, man. I'm just, man.
He already said that. He don't realize he shot himself in the foot when he said they came, before they even came over here, they were Christian. So how the slave masters forced it if they were.
But not only that, he shot himself in the other foot when he said they didn't have no understanding of what was happening. Yet you saying they got converted to something.
It's an important part of my life. Before they even came over here, they was Christian.
So how did the slave masters force it?
The conversion.
how can you be converted to something when you don't even know what's going on? That got me vexed. If I ain't got no understanding, then how can I even?
So you're saying that before somebody forcefully converts you to something, they have to tell you what it is first. They have to educate you on it. They have to teach you the language first, and all those
In order
things
for you to be that thing,
before they
in order for
convert
you
you.
to really be that thing, yes. You can't. I can't. I. For instance, I'm gonna give you an example. Can you be forced to love someone?
According to Hebrew law, yeah. So in regards to the wartime thing, where they would have to take the woman for 30 days, right? So they could that was a law that they had, and that
How
woman might
you
have
keep?
lost her brother. That woman might have lost her. That woman might have lost her brother. That woman might have lost her husband. But she would be forced to marry this
I
man
Hey,
said
King
I
after
James,
30
asked you
King
after
about
James,
30 days.
check this
marrying
out.
somebody. I said, can you be
Hold
forced
up,
to
Hemi.
love
Hold
someone?
up, Hemi. Hold up. I
Yeah.
just want
So,
to
so
make
that so that
sure.
so that's the point that I'm being made.
King J,
That this
real
woman.
quick. I just got to say this because Hemi asked a specific question. Can you be forced to love someone? You gave an example of a woman being taken as a war bounty and potentially being forced to marry someone. Even if he forces her to marry him, that don't mean she love him. The question is, can you be
That was my
forced
that's
to
my
feel?
answer. That answered the
Can you
question. That she
real
hold
quick,
on
Jose?
and hold up. I was
I
answering it.
called you
That was
Jose.
the answer.
Listen, let me ask you. Let me ask because I don't know if you're not hearing. Can someone be forced to love someone? Not marry them, not be with them. Forced to feel love for them.
Okay, and I was given the perfect example and the example that I wanted to use, right? So
Oh
if you let me
wow.
land the plane with it. So in regards to this woman being taken as a wartime bounty, right? And the 30 days, right? Does she love this man? Can she be forced to love this man?
She don't love him.
That's the question, right? And but this is their law that we're talking about. The question is that we're talking about in the context of their law and their scriptures. What does it say, right?
No,
And it says
she's
that this
forced
is
to
what they can
obey,
do.
but
So
she
you're asking the
doesn't
question.
love him.
Hold on. Let me answer the question. I didn't interrupt you when you asked the question. Don't interrupt me when I answer it. So
Yeah, let him go. Let him go.
you're asking me, can this woman who has been captured, taken from her husband, taken from her family, genuinely love this man who has taken her into prison at wartime or prison within 30 days? Can she?
I'm at you. Answer it. Why are you asking
And
me?
it does
I'm
that
at.
have anything to do? And it does that have anything to do with their laws? Because we're talking about their law and their
You
culture. We're
keep
not talking
talking
about
about the
21st
law. I'm
century.
asking you about humans. So what I'm saying is, when you're forced to do something, right? When you are forced to, they were being forced to obey, right? There's, just like what you're talking about with the woman. Your example with the woman marrying someone, a man that's killed her brothers, her fathers, her sons, and all of that. She doesn't love this man. She's being forced to obey him. He took everything away from her and forced her to obey him. He's not teaching her about love.
And this is according to their text, right?
What are
Can
you
I
talking?
ask? I want to ask the question again because
Because
I
because
may
this is because this
I
is the
just
point that I'm
closed off.
driving in. That this is driven in their text from the conception. Like so, our
King J,
conceptualization
do me a
of their
favor,
text.
bro. Just,
Yes.
just humor me right quick. Do me a favor. Just listen to the question. Can you force someone to feel love for you? Yes or no?
I think I gave the perfect example with the
I just need.
in person.
Can you give me a yes or no though?
I think you have to
Can
contextualize that.
you force someone to feel love for you?
Yes, sometimes it depends. I think I have to contextualize that
Wow.
answer. I don't think it's a yes or no. I think I gave the perfect answer in regards to the woman in the wartime being the prisoner of war.
Man, that's heavy, man. That's heavy. Hey, my man said, say yes, Stockholm syndrome. Is that considered actual love though?
Stockholm syndrome is not love.
That's what I'm trying
It's
to figure
called
out.
Stockholm
Is that
syndrome,
love?
and that's
Why would they
feeling
call it?
sorry. And
Why
that's
we?
feeling sorry for the person who abused you. That's not loving them.
Yeah,
But
I'm like, I asked a specific question. Can you force someone to feel love for you? And my man said Stockholm syndrome.
But look, the point I was making with that, King J, is like I said, when you are forcing someone to obey you is not teaching them
King J
about.
fell off. King J fell off. He fell off. Hopefully the brother can come back. And when he come back, we're gonna go ahead and close this thing out. Y'all get ready for the debate next week. The debate is, was Christianity forced on African American slaves? King J is in the affirmative. I am in the negative. It's gonna be a good one. As you can see, the brother is very knowledgeable. The brother turning up. We gonna do this thing, Big Hemi. You got a debate coming up on Sunday, man. Talk to the people about it.
Yeah, man. So I'm debating this guy, Ramo. He called us I call him Yaya, but he called himself what do he go by? Ramo Esoteric. Whatever you call
Raymond
himself.
Bantu Esoteric.
yeah. Ramo Bantu Esoteric. So we got a debate coming up on Sundays. The title is Did God Inherit Darkness According to Genesis? And so y'all come out and y'all make sure it's gonna be a good one. We're gonna deal with what it means to inherit something. The Bible is explicit about when there are things being inherited. Genesis doesn't touch on any inheritance at all. That's a creation story, not an inheritance story. But yeah, y'all come. That's gonna be a pretty interesting debate. I want to see how this brother tries to force inheritance into Genesis. Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. Y'all know what I do when it comes to biblical debate, so we're gonna see.
The best biblical debater in the community. The most consistent Worldview Wars Debate League debater. What you think of this topic between me and Heru Conscious?
Oh, dang! Were the
it?
people who enslaved African Americans Christians? That's tough. How y'all came up with that topic?
Because he want. Hold on, let me see what my daughter wants. Hold on. So yeah, bro. He saw this was when Jose was gonna do the debate that me and King J doing. And he was like, man, I want you on that topic. And I was like, well, let's just come up with another one. And this is what we came up with. And of course, he's in the affirmative, I'm in the negative. So we're gonna deal with it, bro. But yeah, give me your opinion.
When I read titles, I immediately start to look at what the title is actually asking and what it. So to me, when I see this title, that's you really have to define Christianity, right? And that's similar to the topic that remember when me and Anon had our topic was like, did the church fathers corrupt biblical Christianity? So that debate would have been about defining biblical Christianity. I think this is what y'all debate is going to be about, defining what Christianity actually is. And then once you're able to define Christianity, you got to see, are these people Christians? And
I have a question. Real quick. I'm jumping in and out. I had told you we was in the middle of a storm real quick. But just real quick, because I think just from this conversation, you see how easy it is to go over a couple hour mark just on just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, sir.
but we only got
we intended for that to happen.
We only got 2 10 minutes, so it's not like we're not gonna be able to get a lot in there. You know what I'm saying? As far as like, I think the after show probably gonna be a lot of the more that we get a lot to elaborate more on the information presenting in the actual debate, based on just the time constraints of the actual debate. What you think, DMZ?
No, you got to remove the filler. That's it. Just get to the point. Right now, it's a bunch of
Mhm.
filler that's being had in the
Mhm.
obviously in the discussion. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But in the actual debate, you got to get to your points.
Yep.
Um, Structure your argument well, and get to the point. And so I think it'll
Mhm.
be much cleaner. But people, there's no
Yeah.
interruptions and things like that. So
Of course. Of course.
yeah.
Yep. I'm
No
excited. I'm
doubt, no
excited.
doubt.
I'm
Yeah, this gonna
definitely
be dope,
excited.
man. I definitely appreciate you doing it, especially after Jose dropped out.
Oh
So
yeah.
King, hear me one more time. Let the people know what you got coming up on Sunday. Let them know about your channel, your music, all that, and then I'm gonna let King J close out.
Yeah, man. Like again, man. Y'all know I got a debate on Sunday with Raymo, Bantu, Esoteric. Um, you know, did God inherit the darkness according to Genesis? So y'all pull up on Sunday night. We're gonna be doing that debate. As far as music goes, man. Remember, y'all can follow me on my YouTube page. That's my organic music. Then I also got this AI music thing kicking off that I've been doing lately, man. It's going crazy. Y'all can follow me on TikTok at Hemi AI_713. It's going crazy over there. I appreciate you, DMG, for having me on the platform as always, man. I'm still looking for more debates too, y'all. I ain't really seen nobody really talk about wanting to debate like that in the
Yeah,
community a lot lately.
it's my fault, man. I've been a little slow, especially on the Worldview Wars front, man. I'm gonna try to turn that thing up. So I'm gonna try to get you some opponents, man. Dang, we
Okay.
lost King J again. I was just about to say maybe King J will be willing to get in the ring with you, man. Y'all seem to have a pretty good back and forth. Hopefully we can get the brother back. But y'all make sure y'all support him. You check out the music channel. Check him out on TikTok. And show enough, be here at 5:15 Central Time this Sunday as he defend the Worldview Wars Debate League social media title against Raymo Bantu Esoteric. It's gonna be a good one. All right, my brother, I'm gonna tap in with you. Hey, Hemi, come back, man. JJ and Jose got a face off in about an hour and a half.
All right, bet I'll be here.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, we got some. King J, is that you?
Nah, this is Saram Ka.
Oh, Asar M. Ka in the building. Hey, bro, I actually gotta holler at you. I need you to judge the debate, bro.
Okay. Just
I
let
got
me
a
know.
debate between JJ and Jose
Jose.
on Retainer Sacrifice. I need you to
Them is my
yeah.
boys. I don't want.
I need you to
All
be
right.
impartial,
All right.
bro. I need you to be
I got
impartial.
it. Okay. Okay. We can
But
do
what
it.
you got for us, man?
I heard debate. I heard somebody was dissing Kemet up here earlier today, or maybe that was another channel. Yeah.
Hey, listen, we might be able to get something with you and Hemi. And you know Josh Stu been wanting to smoke with you for a year now. So
He just don't want to say nothing when I pop up. I'm here.
Look,
He's supposed to say, he's supposed to give it to you and say, let's get it.
check it out.
And then I'm a gift wrap.
He got a face-to-face this Sunday with Gideon. I'm going to text you the link so you can pop on once we open it up. And that way we can go ahead and lock y'all in once he get done with Gideon.
Yeah. They be talking reckless. I got a checklist if you talking reckless. We don't do that.
Hold on, bro. Yim and Yahoo say, man, I messed my brother name up. I'm sorry, bro.
Yahoo. I know his name because I done defeated him twice already. You want a third round?
I want to debate.
You want a third serving Yahoo?
Is the response to the code of Hammurabi. Y'all already debated twice?
Yeah, these dudes be running around like they ain't got that work already. Just because that other channel was down and he don't want to play my debates because of what his issues in life. Don't forget what happened when it was going down. Tanks on the ground.
He say not officially. He say not officially, bro.
Bro, you lost twice officially. What you talking about? You stopped debating after me and you had the last debate. You wanted to retire.
Let's make it happen officially on Worldview Wars Debate League, man.
They can all get it. It don't matter. You want a second serving, it's gonna be worse. Because it be stuff I ain't even get to touch on. I wasn't even thinking about it.
Hit the link. Link is in the chat. Hit the link. Look, I was gonna get out of here, but if I can get this locked in, let's do it. Hit the link, bro. Cause you ain't actually had a debate over here yet.
I don't think so.
Nah.
Because what we did over here, we had an interview discussion.
Exactly.
About some of the work we do out here in Colorado and the unfortunate situation with my partner who's now in jail.
Yeah.
But we show right now.
Hey. Business about to pick up, family. The brother didn't hit the link.
Peace and blessings, family. Peace and blessings, family. Thank you, DMG, for allowing me to get up here. Peace to you, Asar, MK. Shalom to everybody. So we didn't officially debate. We had a few squabbles, you know what I'm saying, scrimmages, you know what I'm saying. It wasn't an official debate. But I want to pose this as a debate. That the 42 negative confessions, I know but I want to debate that the 42 negative confessions is the response of the Code of Hammurabi.
The response. Explain your premise a little more, because when you say it's the response of the Code of Hammurabi, I need to know what you're trying to say. You trying to say they made that because of the Hammurabi codes?
And because of their of the religious or the spiritual nature of the Near East, you know what I'm saying? Those judgment scenes, I understand that those are the Nether rules. So they have their spiritual practice, something like how y'all say about the Bible. You know what I'm saying? The Torah, our response to the Torah is to the God. So this 42 negative confessions is to the God or gods. And I'm saying that due to the spiritual practice of the ancient Near East, that is the response. Because the reason why it's colloquially known as negative confession is because of the negative not. I have not. So that's why it's colloquially known as negative confessions, because it says I have not. So
it says, okay.
And so my premise is from the codes given, it's the response from the deity from the divine to the king of the time was Hammurabi. Okay, so this is a divine decree.
Let me pause y'all for 1 second. Hey, King J, man, I'm always trying to make debates, man. I got 2 heavy hitters up here, so I'm gonna maximize your screen, and I'm gonna let you close out because I know you're in a messed up area. I hope y'all safe.
Yeah, be safe out there, KJ.
Yeah, we good. I'm in Detroit for the holiday.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm in Detroit for the holiday, so it's like a little storm passed through. So yeah, we good.
Is it?
Good now. Detroit.
Okay. I didn't know I had a storm out there. Go on and speak up real quick, Jay. We can get to.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you close this thing out. Let the people know how bad you're gonna beat me up next Friday.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be a powerful debate. I think a lot of the information that we talked about today, we'll get a chance to go into a little bit more in detail. So I'm taking that affirmative. I'm definitely thinking I'll be able to, put my stance. So I'm excited. So definitely tune in next Friday. I'll be there. Quick question: what is this? What was the conversation y'all was building upon? After that, I
He
might
was
want
saying that the
to.
42 negative confessions are in relation to the Code of Hammurabi. I'm trying to see where exactly what he's saying about the connection between the two. That's not quite established yet.
Okay, okay. Because I know we know about the eye for the eye in the Hammurabi code in regards to the Moses' Ten Commandments. That's
which is
well established.
totally different. Which is totally different, but we could say that,
Uh-huh.
or you could say that.
Uh-huh.
I mean, we
When
just
we
go
when,
right to the
Or
Nash
maybe.
Papyrus where the
uh,
Moses, or
yep,
the oldest one you got. So the
yep,
Nash
Uh,
Papyrus is your 10 Commandments. But go ahead,
yeah.
brother.
I
You were
think I
saying that.
think that I
Actually,
think the
hold on.
negative 40. Okay,
Wait
good.
a minute. It's actually 613 commandments, brother. It's 613 statutes, judgments, and commandments. Torah, when we say Torah, or in the or excuse me, in the English where it says law, they say, oh, that's the Torah. But the Torah only encompasses, the Torah means teachings or instructions, because that's what a moray is. A moray is a guide or a teacher. Okay. And so it's more than just 10 commandments.
Yes, it's going to be a bunch. It's more than 42 laws in ancient Kemet, which we have full blown. We got other cases where people got either killed or judged, kicked out of the county, no grave, all that stuff. So definitely more to it. But yeah, I mean, we don't
So
have to run far. You got Moses going on top of the mountain getting laws and codes from Jehovah
right. So
Nisa.
we ain't going to
But that's
get
where,
we ain't going to get away from the actual topic. And what I'm proposing is that the 42 negative confessions. I know it's not called that. You know, I know. This is something that's colloquially known today. And
yeah,
the reason
Dr.
why,
Ben
again,
made that famous.
right,
Go ahead.
right, okay, right. So, and the reason why he posits negative confessions is because it says, I have not. The negative there is the not. So it's not that the confession is negative, it's just the fact that it's a response. Okay, I have not. And so what I'm positive is, and we can have a discussion, or I would rather debate it, but we can have a discussion either or. I posit I posit that this is a response to the divine creed of Hammurabi.
No, for one, I would say
You
that
can say no.
If I
I
Okay,
would,
may,
tell me why,
if
Jay.
I
and I
may,
can let
I
me
want to say this. Debate it and debate it on Worldview Wars Debate League channel. Hey, family, listen.
Oh, that's what's gonna go down there for
Everybody,
sure.
yeah, a standard debate. Each debater gets $50. If you're a defending champion, you get $100. Your challenger get 50. I'm trying to keep that up. I'm gonna need some help from the family because coming out of my pocket, it get a little tight sometimes. But I want to try to keep that standard. I believe debaters are just like athletes. They like athletes train, they research, they compile the research, they put it in a presentation, and then they put it out in front of the people, in front of an audience. I feel like they got to get compensated for that. So I'm trying to get that thing reestablished. And with the three of y'all on this panel, along with who I already got, I think we can get this thing popping. So King J, the invitation go out to you, just like it go out to these two brothers. If you're interested, let me know. I'm trying to get that thing back up and running. I wanted to put that out before y'all continue. Go ahead, though.
I want that
I
old
would
thing,
wait,
black.
I just wanted to say why I had contention with that was because I would suggest that those 42 admonitions would probably predate any law of Hammurabi. And I would
No, it
also
wouldn't.
just Well, the Sapots date to about at least three. Some of them in the South date to about 3000 BC. If we talk about Taseti, so any admission to that Sapot. I mean, also they change, right? They can change depending on the Sapot.
Correct.
I like
So,
that idea. I like that
But
idea. But when we actually, or when not we, but when the archaeologists actually dated the 42 negative confessions, they dated around the first dynasty of the Babylonians. I know it,
Babylonian.
right,
the Hammurabi
when they
Code
said,
dates to about
hold on,
1800
So
right.
BC.
Thank you,
yeah.
thank you. And so
To what?
now
To what
the
BC?
42 negative confessions is dated to what?
18, see, huh?
You said the what BC?
1800 BC.
Yes.
So about the
Thank you.
1800s. But
Yeah,
we got the
1800.
pyramid text, which is about
Way older,
2000 something. Yeah. Okay.
Talking about
2400.
42 negative confessions. I
But
ain't
you
talking
don't
about
know. But you gotta
nothing for the
understand that
42.
they're mentioned in the pyramid text, the admonitions.
You
So
don't know that,
familiarize
Jeff.
yourself with the
You don't know
text.
that, Jeff. So don't let everything out the bag. Just let him
Okay.
stand on what he stand on, right? So we
Listen,
And get
I'm
beat
so
up.
very aware of that. That's cool. I'm
And
very
get beat
aware of
up.
that. No,
But then you know that they
okay.
predated things. So if
I don't
anything,
so
the
think so.
argument that you should make would be that the Hammurabi Code draws from them, not the
Never,
replay.
never. Listen, there is no command, there is no decree nowhere found in Egypt. Nowhere. I have I have the textbook. I have the textbook on this. You're not going to find anything that says you shall not. You don't
well,
find nothing
it
that
doesn't
says you
say you
shall
shall
not.
not. It says Nini is the word, which is
So
no.
was
And then it goes into what the confession is. And then it goes into the particular friend of Asar
there you
that
go.
they don't want to
Mhm.
piss off. So we'll be reading the text when we do that, just in case you come with that thou art not or any of that weird stuff. We're gonna read the
Mhm.
text directly, right? So that's one thing.
Mhm.
Number
Mhm.
two, are you sure you
Mhm.
got your date together? Is that the oldest Hammurabi code you can find? Is 1800?
I'm saying the 42 negative confessions is dated where? I'm talking about the 42 negative confessions.
You find them in coffin text and you find them in pyramid text. Are you sure 1800 is the oldest you got?
We gonna come with it. We gonna come with it
King J, do you want to do
because
it to him?
We
hey,
just did it to him.
All right.
We just
hey,
did it to him. He
hey,
just ain't
right, pause.
comprehend. He just ain't comprehend what had just happened.
I'm going to
That's
throw
all.
him back in the water. He's small as a
Listen,
minnow. I'm going to throw him back
listen.
in the water.
Time out,
Go
time
ahead,
out,
brother.
time out, time out. I know exactly what's going on. What y'all saying, it just sounds good right now. Y'all talking real good. But when the facts roll out, you ain't gonna be able to get around what I'm standing on.
When is Unis
Mm.
written? I'm going to help you out. When
He
is
say
Unis
y'all
written?
ain't gonna be able to get around it, is what the brother's
He's,
saying.
he sound good. It sound good. When is
Onus,
Unis written? Are you familiar with who Unis is?
onus or
No, I'm
Winnie.
not familiar with this.
Onus is like, or just say
Hold
Winnie.
up.
He might know who Winnie is.
Save some of your ammo since he think he know. Are you
Do you
familiar
know?
with them at all, my brother?
No,
No, no.
no.
Okay.
It's not
So
fair. Then
there,
it's not gonna be fair.
it's not. That's why
How
I
was
was like,
that fair,
he a
bro?
minnow. But
Hold on, brother. Hold on. Listen, I have textbooks. Okay, I've spent. Well, actually, the one textbook, when I was going to college for anthropology, okay, that book was free. I got the Ancient Near East Volume 3 by James Pritchard. Okay, I got that. That was for free. But I have other textbooks. Okay, scholarly books on ancient Egypt, and
But
so.
but but you're making linguistic arguments, not anthropology.
no, it's
I'm not
okay. You
making
can say what you
it's not
want.
a
I'm in
wait, wait, wait,
I have
hold on. I
information
never
in textbooks. So if you go to the School of Manchester for your Egyptology degree, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
read my paper on the ancient bullet because
Mm.
they use it still. And you're also going to see the other one I did on King Tut's silver plated and gold plated fighting sticks. But go ahead.
it, And what university is this?
School of Manchester in England.
Is it a university in
Yes,
England? Okay,
yeah,
okay,
and it's accredited,
that's nice work.
and they
Nice
still
work.
use my paper. Thank you, family. I appreciate you, and
Oh yeah,
I'm happy you got textbooks because a lot of our brothers and sisters ain't reading like that, and I appreciate the fact that you're doing it. But go ahead, brother.
most definitely. Yeah, and the reason why this actually came to me because my teacher Zion Lex, he already brought up like 4 or 5 years ago. He was teaching the class, and he was talking about the Amorite expansion. He was talking about how the Amorites' rulership actually stretched from the middle of the two rivers to the Nile Valley,
I agree
and
with
so
the
that
Emirates expansion. I agree
right.
with the
And
Emirates expansion. I have a whole thesis in regards to that.
okay, and see, this is why I think that you would appreciate this topic, debate topic, because you're familiar with this expansion, and so you know that this expansion went into the Nile Valley. Okay, and it's debated that the Amorites, they were the Hekakasu. Okay, so
Yeah, but we got.
Oh,
I agree with all of that. But when we talk about dates, you got then. So date. What date is Hammurabi?
so it's the
that's still
first
12th
dynasty.
dynasty though. That's
Mhm.
not that. Yeah, 12th dynasty is not there. 1800 is not the first dynasty even. You
Not
want
at
first
all.
No,
dynasty?
no,
Yeah,
no,
you
no, no,
you got
no,
to go
no,
back
no, no,
3000
no,
or
no,
something.
no. Not in Kemet. We ain't
And
talking
that's
about
only if you
Kemet.
take the
We're
reduction
actually
out.
looking at
But you're making an argument that the 42 confessions are tied into that, right? So you have to talk about Kemet.
I mean, of course, because again,
Did you
since
think it
this
through all the
topic
way, or
came
did it
back
just
up,
sound good?
hold on.
Mhm.
Since you brought up this Amorite expansion,
I agree
which
with.
I'm well
Mhm.
familiar with.
Hold on, real quick, hold on. Do anybody want to smoke with the brother on this debate? If it's gonna be easy, take the candy from the baby.
But
But the
what's the
brother,
Hey,
topic though? I don't like that topic
I'm
that
kind
they
of
had.
throwing them around right
I
now.
mean,
Yeah, I'm
that's
finna
you.
say like he getting
I'm
beat.
kind of
This
throwing
is a
that
jab.
around like
He getting beat up.
Hold on.
that don't go there,
This
that
was
don't
a
go there.
jab
Yeah,
specifically for Asar.
yeah.
Specifically for Asar. I was
I'm,
hoping to
I'm
catch Asar so I could shoot this at him, you know what I'm saying, and see
uh-huh.
would he bite on it. Yeah.
and
Oh,
and,
I
and
take
like
a big bite of that. Yeah.
Hecker, look, Assault, he was hoping to bump into you, and like Hecker, you popped up on the panel.
Ah, bloop,
Look at
bloop. Candy man.
that.
He said candy, and here we are, baby.
Here we are.
So Amorite expansion. That
Hey, do
sounds
me a
like
favor,
something
y'all.
different,
Keep
but
building. I gotta go pay a water bill, but keep building.
okay. So the Amorite expansion is well, number one, Amorites are Canaanites,
Not
right?
necessarily, but yes.
They're Canaanites. Hebrew is the second to last form of the Canaanite language, right?
No, no.
What?
Biblical. Now,
What?
this is why I want to get that King J on, because now biblical Hebrew, you can't really put a stamp. The only reason why we see Hebrew in the family tree as it is because they're actually looking at Second Temple. Okay, this is Second Temple. They don't have the only material that is Canaanite, like far as the Canaanite script, we can go into the Samaritan. Okay,
It's first
so
temple.
that's
It's first temple because
no.
Yah is
Well,
not the dominant god in the location during the first temple period, which is why he's mentioned, but he has the L in his name,
no,
Elijah or
brother.
Eliah.
No,
That's
Well,
how it
brother.
got there.
we
No,
know.
brother.
Well, we know that to be
That's not a
true, but
fact.
because
That's
they're
a
That's
fact.
not.
theophoric. Wait.
No. We don't know it's true.
They're
Those are
theophoric names.
hypotheses. Hmm.
No, it's in the name, brother.
Yes,
Theophoric
yes.
names. They tell the
You're
deity.
saying no, but that's actually no. because when we actually look at the Semitic language, when we look at the Semitic language, we understand that these were words that was used colloquially. Like today, somebody could say, "Oh, in God we trust." Well, and what God? See, there are many gods. People have personal gods. So as we use God today, like somebody say, "Oh, God help me," like I don't really know what God do you mean. A person had to specify, "Oh, the God who created the heavens and the earth." Now, just like in today, in ancient times, they had an understanding of a God that created heaven and earth. Okay,
I don't
and
think
that
so.
still doesn't pull away. I think so, and see, that's what
I
I want
think
to
that,
get
I
at
think
too
that
on that whole topic.
I think
That's
so.
a topic
I
we need to
mean,
get
so
at.
it
Mhm.
ties into the MRA expansion because my whole thesis starts with them acknowledging forces, right? And those forces which we go by nameless and meanings. So look up nameless and meanings, research what those are. Those
And
are
the Nemu,
forces that
the
mhm,
Neteru. So if
yes.
you're talking about
But you,
Neteru and you're talking about different things in nature, then we know that the Neteru are the different things in nature, as well
Exactly.
as the spirit of the different
I was
things in nature, as
mhm.
well as once
I
they
would
become
disagree.
those things, you couldn't though, because I just pull up the text and show you, right?
Mhm.
You can
So
pull up a text. You
oh,
can pull up
we
a
can
text,
easily
but I'm
pull up
saying that the
things like
biblical text.
I rule the
Mhm.
earth, I rule Gebeb, and Gebeb is the spirit of the earth, and Gebeb is earth. That's what the Neteru are.
At the same
So
time, yeah.
you would lose.
Okay,
Yeah, we
so
would just go right to the attestations from the TLA. There's about 942 for that particular netra, and then we would go into the 1,000 and some change for Ra, and the ones for Asar, and each one, and you would lose because you would see the literal as well as the metaphysical for each one.
yeah, see,
Go
that's why the Bible, that's why the Hebrew text is the truest form of worship, because if how you gonna worship, how does earth have a spirit? What how does the earth,
How does
how
earth
does
have
the
a
sky have a,
spirit?
Earth
how
has
does
a
water
Earth
Because
have
has
a
it
a
spirit?
force.
created you. So it
How is it
has
It has a
spiritual?
force.
divinity.
And you know what I'm saying? It's a physical thing, but it's
Watch this.
spiritual. Like, no. You know what I'm saying?
It has
But
a
Right.
force.
So,
I
so
mean,
let me ask you a couple quick questions. Hold up, hold up. Let
yes,
me
sir.
ask him a couple quick questions. Did you come
Yes, sir.
from the earth?
I came
Do
from my
you
mother's
believe you
womb.
have a spirit?
I came from my father's
Did your
nutsack out of
mother,
my
did,
mother's womb. Mhm.
did the human beings that created them come from the earth?
Only two people were created in fashion that was fashioned from the earth. It's only two people.
So they
After
came from
them,
the earth, right?
everything came
Without
through
without
them.
being didactic. It's simple. Did they come from the earth?
It was more than just the earth. It was the clay. It was
Clay is
everything
from
that
earth.
makes the
Did they
clay.
come from the
Mhm.
earth,
No, they didn't
brother?
come from the earth. They was made fashioned out of the dust or the clay.
The earth,
Hmm.
right? The dust is
No,
on the
they
earth,
what
right?
they
I
see.
do
Where'd
Listen,
the
my
when
dust
you
come
say,
yeah, I
from?
do
Hold
hold
on,
on,
let him let him finish.
time out. When you say they came from the earth, as if Adam was pushed out of the dirt and was formed the whole body. No, they didn't come from the earth. They was made by God. They was fashioned by God,
What did he
not
fashion
earth,
them out of?
out of the dust or the
What is
clay,
the
as it
dust? Is
is
the
in
dust is
what
the
the
clay
Talmud.
from the earth? Yes or no? That
Clay is
ain't
from the earth,
difficult,
but
brother.
not man.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
Hmm.
they say that man was made from the earth. The other part, you say your
No,
God
you
did it.
keep
We
no,
know
hold on. You keep. Oh, who says that? Now, as far as I know,
you in
Canaan
your book.
fashioned
If
man
you
from clay.
oh,
Canaan
that's from
fashioned
the
man
earth.
from clay.
That's from the earth. That's from
The
Gebeb, right?
clay
So
is, but not
we're
man.
not confused over on our side. You're saying that the clay and the dust is different than the earth. But
No,
we
brother.
say,
I'm saying
brother,
that the material that made the man is from the earth, but man is not from earth. Like he was
the
birthed out
man
of the
came from
earth.
the
No,
earth. No,
no, he
you
didn't.
trying to justify the spirit
No,
portion. We're gonna get
no,
to the
it's
spirit
no
portion
It was
now.
fashioned from clay
portion.
from the
It's no
Iduma.
spiritual. The
Brother, you just
materials
asked
that
me
was
about
used.
a spirit. Remember what your question was now. Now you kind of going off track. You just asked about the spirit. Now you saying there's no spirit? There's the spirit. So we're going to
brother.
talk about the
God
spirit. Let's
is
get
a
it together.
spirit. God is a
God,
spirit. Earth is not a
okay,
spirit. Earth is not a
okay,
spirit.
but the
Mm-hmm.
body that we were talking about is made. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. The body with brother. Somebody got to go on mute. Y'all got conversation going in the back. So
Is
when we
y'all
talking about the
jumping
earth,
the good brother Yahoo?
yeah, when we
They
talking about the,
trying, but I'm holding my own.
he holding
I'm holding
something,
it
but I
down.
don't know what he holding right now. He about to fold them. He about to know when to fold them. So listen, if we
Like
talking
that.
about the earth, then we're talking about what they're made of. When we're talking about their spirit, we know from your skin color that Ra had an act in fashioning you into shape. We know where energy comes from. That's why we call him the great Ka and the great Ba, because that's
I
your
thought we was
spirit
talking about Gab.
and your
I thought we was
soul.
talking about Gab. I thought we
That's
was
the
talking about
earth.
Gab.
That's Gebeb. So you got the
Okay.
earth. Remember, I told you it's about 942 attestations for him, and then you got about 1,000 for Ra. Remember, I told you it's about 1,000 for Ra. So now you got the earth, and you got Ra and Nut in unison. And we say Nut and Geb make children of the earth. So every time y'all pull up that perverted little picture, the Hindu Tawi Stella, where he said, I spit Necharu, I spit the teardrops, so I spit out gods and protect them. And then she says, I'm a
Yeah, that's
suit
crazy.
Heru, I'm a suit Necharu, I birth the gods. That's because that's a sexual act between the earth and the solar system. You're
Bro,
birthed
cut
by the
it out.
universe. You are born of God. And then you deny it, but your Bible gonna say from your God's mouth, Jesus, he said, didn't I say you were gods amongst men? All right.
Jesus is
So
not God. Okay.
it don't, well, he told us, didn't I say ye were gods amongst men? That's what he
Hey,
said.
listen. Didn't
So now,
this just picked up? We got the black
DMG, hold up.
sage, Elder
Don't cut
Yara
him.
in the
Don't
building. I
save
just
him,
want you to know.
DMG.
Oh
Don't
yeah, there
save
we
him,
go.
DMG. Right now, I need to talk
Salute
to our
to you,
brother.
Black Sage.
Peace, y'all.
Go ahead, Asar.
Y'all
Go ahead,
Ra
Asar.
want a
I just
Shalom,
wanted to
rematch
make
Asay,
you
too.
Hotep.
aware. I
What's
just
up,
wanted to
sis?
make you aware that we got a legend on the panel. Go ahead though. Finish up.
So now it's two things going on. One, you got the earth involved. Two, you got the solar system involved. You got Mother New. Three, which means that the biosphere works. Number three, you got the sun involved. That's how you get your skin color in the first place. You're birthed by Ra. And when the earth ends, you're going to see Ra again because suns engulf the planets around them. You ain't got no choice. We know where you're going.
But this goes back
But
to my
hold up, brother.
whole
Hold
thing.
up, brother. Hold up, brother. I ain't finished.
Go ahead.
So if that's the case, when it comes to your spirit, as you said, it comes from the sun and the earth. And the earth produced it. And you asked if the earth was alive. If the earth produced you and you live, did a dead thing produce you or a live thing produce you?
Brother, the earth didn't produce anything. God and even hold on, and even according to your Kemetic text, Khnum fashioned man out of clay. So just because the material came from, so that's just like saying a robot. If I build a robot, did the robot come from the metal, like out of the metal, or did I create
His
and
casing came
fashion
from
the
the
metal?
metal. His
Say it
casing
again.
came from the metal. And if you fashioned it, you
No, I'm
fashioned it
saying,
from
did it
metal.
come out? Did it
Yeah.
come out like? Did it raise out of the metal? Did the metal push the robot out?
The creator of it brought it forth through metal.
Thank you. So that's my whole point.
So guess
The
what you made it
material is
from?
earth.
It's made of
Hold
metal.
on, hold on. The material came from the earth, okay? But according to our text, according to the Torah, God gave the breath of life. God fashioned man, formed
So,
man, and
sorry, his
put
mechanism is God.
in place of.
So
Hold on,
you
let me
can't
let
Say
really
him
it
go.
argue.
Let
again.
him go.
You can't really argue that because it's
No.
subjective. So
Let him
it'll
go.
be
Because
it'll
if
be
his
Well,
circular.
you
mechanism
really
is
can't
God,
argue. Hold
his
on,
his
and you really
energy
can't
came from
argue
the
with his
sun. We
whole
covered
side.
Ra's
Y'all,
portion in the
one
play.
mic. Let's let Yerm Yahoo walk it out. Saw respond, and then we got to get to El Yara.
Yep. Go ahead,
You
yeah.
got it, Asar.
Okay. So he already acknowledged what we said. The energy, which is what he was dependent upon, came from God, from the man in that case. Man was the God in creating the robot. In this case, the sun, Ra, was your energy, and it created you and gave you the proper temperature, which is why the scientists keep trying to create that perfect environment to see if they can reproduce humans from Earth, from nothing again. But either way it goes, when you get fashioned into shape, all your materials come from two things: the sun, either one that exploded and landed on its debris landed on this planet where you could formulate your DNA and things that make you, and the other things that shape you, which are from the earth. You share 70% of your DNA with the sun, and you share all the elements of the earth. Go ahead, brother, talk to me. Brother Yava.
So now I have to ask you a question. Since you said it's uh 1,000 attestations of Ra, or so in any of those 1,000 inscriptions, does it say that Ra fashioned man with his hands, or fashioned
Yeah,
man created man?
yeah. And in
Say it again.
fact, oh yeah, absolutely. And there's certain things that in fact, you can go find it in the 75 praises of Ra. That could be your homework on it, right? 75
Okay.
praises of Ra. I believe
So
it.
in
They're in
other
Setting
words,
Tomb, and they cover everything that Ra does in the shaping of man. But when you go to the attestations of Ra, it starts to talk about how he creates you, because Ra is formulated as the sun, but every Netcharu is all things at the end of the day. Kanum Ra is another name you didn't know about, probably. Why would they call him Kanum Ra?
I mean, I'm hip to that because of the Raul Nefer. I read his book that he actually plagiarized from an elder Hebrew brother. But I done read his works, and I done seen what is called the Ninas, or the Enim, the
I never
nine
read
natural
Ra
rules.
Nefer's book. Yeah, I don't know his book
Uh,
too well. Shout out to Ra
Right,
Nefer. I never read your book though, Faith. Yeah,
right.
I have a
Yeah,
few of
yeah.
them, but I never read them.
Y'all, let's let the Black Sage tap in.
Come on, brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man, peace and blessings, man. Giving all praise to the God of
Oh, my
Abraham,
God.
Isaac, and Jacob, man. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Shout out to DMG, man, the infamous DMG. I appreciate you, brother, for your work in the community. It's unmatched, unrivaled, man. I appreciate you. Shout out to my brother Yahoo. Shout out to my good brother King J. Appreciate you, brother, man, and shout out to Asad M. Cobb, man. We go back. We got some history for those of you who don't know. And
My brother.
so when I heard
You
this
ain't call
good
me your
brother,
brother though.
man,
Hold
first
up,
of all,
acknowledge me as your brother.
yeah, before I say that, before I say this, man, like
Sure,
um
sure.
this is a good man. Like I can tell, the spirit of a man. You see what I'm saying? So I know Asar M. Kaz is a good man. He's a family man, and so we need more examples of that in this community. I believe every man on this panel can hold that. So just let me say that. But one thing about my good brother Asar M. Kaz, he loves to fantasize Kemet, right? And when I say fantasize it, he's the best at mishmashing this Kemetic science with the ancient Kemetic history we know that existed, right? So I jumped on, and Yirmiyahu said it. We know Khnum is the fashioner and the creator of man, the physical man. We know that. Now, when he says Kunum Ra, we know Ra at some point had began to be used as a misnomer, just like we see El
in the Ugaritic text at times in the ancient Near East is used as a misnomer, right? So it's just like saying the highest when you see Ra at times when it's attached to the end of a lot of these other deities. And we see this in the various different gnomes when people were worshiping. You see that especially in the 42 gnomes, right? Sometimes Ra is attached to their name, right? Not because they believe that this is Ra or this is a manifestation of Ra, but they're just saying this deity is the highest in this gnome, in this worship. But this is where I give credit to our good brother Zion Lex, right? He brought out something in his community years ago nobody's ever touched. When he said it, y'all got real quiet. Nobody ever responded to it. When he goes into the temple of Khnum and he shows Khnum fashioning man on a potter's wheel, right? Our good brother Zion Lex pointed out something very important. He says that we don't have a potter's wheel that is indigenous to the works of anybody in ancient Kemet. That is a Mesopotamian mechanism.
Mic drop.
So how do you get the people in ancient Kemet displaying a potter's wheel if without the influence of the ancient Near Eastern people or coming out of Mesopotamian works? You don't. That's their invention. So how does it get into your creation story? Now, here's my good brother Asar Imkad. This is what he does often. There are many different tales of how man is created in ancient Kemet. And it's not just one monolithic story. There are many different stories. So how do we know which one to go by? We don't. Because in ancient Kemet, they had many different belief systems of who they worshiped in the pantheon based on that dynasty that ruled at the time. Some favored Set, some favored Ta, some favored Ra, some favored Isis before she was replaced by Ra. So we know, and especially when you get to these 42 negative confessions, right, that people often talk about, when you look at the actual original text of the 42 negative confessions, they're dealing with the different deities in those 42 gnomes that correlates with those 42 negative confessions. So when people talk about that, these 42 negative confessions are not just dealing with one deity, it's dealing with several different deities in the Kemetic pantheon that they had actually violated, right? The person that actually did those things that they say, a lot of you say, well, they would never do that. No, he's saying he actually did it, right? So when we get to our good brother Asar, he loves to fight for Kemet in that way, but brother, it doesn't hold up. Because he knows right now we can find 4 or 5 different origin stories for how man was created. And I know that when he talks about the Ra's tears come down and they form man and different things like that, that's the not the earliest story. That's a later story. And so when you start to ask these brothers to date those, when you start asking these brothers to date those stories that they're telling you, well, you see Geb doing this, or you see Khnum doing this, or you see Ra doing this. Tell it, date it. Then you start to say, oh, well, there's an older story than that. Which one do we go with?
So, you good? Okay.
Yeah, you can tag your camel.
Yeah, okay. So let's tighten the camel real tight and send him back over to Mesopotamia. We when he says that the potter's wheel was introduced by the Mesopotamians, I think we all forget sometimes when we find out who runs and who first set foot in ancient Kemet is by the black top pottery. So if there's black top pottery with red bottoms, which would suggest Nehesi were there first, as well as the bodies in the early burials, then we know Khnum on the potter's wheel would be older than the Mesopotamian look-alike, supposedly on a wheel. So when you look at the picture, and this is how I know because a lot of people haven't seen the picture, it's Khnum shaping man. This is handout shaping man. So he does it in a Nubian fashion, for those who don't know and didn't answer our brother Zion Lex. I thought that was cue to him. So when you talk about how Khnum does it, you need to go look and see how the Nehesi do it and how the ancient Egyptians do it, because he does it in the same way. So no, it wouldn't have been from Mesopotamia, because if that was the case, then we know the white top pottery would have came before the black top pottery, and it doesn't, which is how we know that the culture came from the south when it comes to archaeology. So that would be a misnomer, and you can put that in the trash today. Second, our brother mentioned what you mentioned, Yara? You said something about Ra.
Yeah, that Ra is used as a misnomer at times.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So Ra, and that would be true. The only thing, well, that's right. That's what you said. You were saying that it depended on who was king, who they would worship. Actually, it didn't. It depended on the particular culture that you came from, which would let them know which Netcharu you favored and what you were a priest of. Because Kemet is made up of a conglomerate of different African countrymen getting together to make a big monolith, if you will, when we were in unison and were together on certain points. So in times of the intermediate periods, when they would break up, people would go back to what they normally did. Their Netcharu would rule. And you always had a country story of Netcharu, due to wars and just due to disagreements or due to coming together as a people, which is how a lot of mythos came into play in the first place. The other is from the solar religion, which started to unify the people, and you start to get the stories being told through the stars and the constellations. And because they were into the constellations, it can tell you which Netcharu is in control, because there are three that are above their area based off of where they're at, because they had the tropical can't remember the calendar, whatever, the tropical thing that happens during the year, and that's how they would see the stars in the sky. And so they were able to tell you which Netcharu was in control, the three that were, and the one in the middle was the head of things. And I won't get too much into that because it tells us not to tell the mysteries. But Yara says the good part right there with there's different Netcharu that have different stories, yes, but they're all at any point in time can be the head of the Netcharu, from the females to the men, from Aset to Heru on down. And when you mention Ra, like I said, he fashions men into shape too. Go look up the 75 praises of Ra.
Yes, I agree with you on that point, but that's a later story. That's what I'm telling you. There are much older renditions of how man is fashioned in ancient Kemet. That's
And I'll give you the credence on that.
that's a later
Absolutely.
one. But again, and I like to, based on the second point of mine I made that you responded to. I love how you just tried to refashion exactly what I just said. So that was great. But number
Right, exactly,
but
exactly.
but
He
number
glossed right over that.
right. But number one, the first point that I made was about the potter's wheel. And I love how this is why I love Asar M. Khan, because if y'all sleeping, he got you, right? It doesn't it doesn't tell us, and it doesn't show us, because the archaeology tells us that the oldest evidence of a potter's wheel in existence was found in Mesopotamia, not in ancient Kemet, not in Nubia, but in Mesopotamia, right? And y'all know how archaeology works. Just like when we was on the other day, and in our I'll let you get back to your camel. When you talk about right, right, just like when we talk about these different iconographies and different things that we see and motifs that we see, when we talk about Narmer, right, and we look at the Narmer palette, isn't it funny that on the Narmer palette, when we talk about the Nasut or the conqueror or the one who unified both lands, that they stand on the fact that this is an ancient Kemetic king, right? We know that he was, but we've been arguing that he's a colonizer, right? He's not from the indigenous land of Egypt, right? Or Africa, right? He must be, based on the motifs on the Narmer palette, he must have some ties to the ancient Near East and Mesopotamia. Why? Because what we see
Oh,
on that palette is
oh.
Mesopotamian iconography.
Well, yeah, Rob. Who must
Narmer.
be from? Who must be? No, Nakar. No. Narmer is from the Nakata area. I would like to say the Neccan. So to me, Narmer represents the Neccan Efu Confederacy, right? I would call it the Neccan Confederacy because it consists of those southern three Sapat, Taseti, Etu, and Neccan. When we
Mm-hmm.
look at the iconography on the Narmer palette, we see the standards, right? We see those falcons. Those are the Efu Neccan standards. It looks to be like 4 or 5 possibly. So those 4 or 5 Sapats,
Mm-hmm.
which I would argue that he conquered first,
Mm-hmm.
and then it went up there. So I mean, it's a deeper than I don't even like the term unification at all. But I would definitely suggest that he went south first, got those southern spots, and marched north. So I would say that it's more of a Nahesi. I would say he's more of a Nahesi representation of a southern origin opposed to a Nile Delta um, origin. Because when we look at the Narmer palette or the Hunter's palette or the Libyan palette, we see the chopped heads of the Tahino. They're literally
Mm-hmm.
identified as the Tahino.
Mm-hmm.
We see the throw stick and we see the olive field. So it hints to Tahino land.
Mm-hmm.
So I would suggest that they're
Can
different.
I ask you a question?
Yeah, real quick on that, and then I'll jump out the way. The reason
So,
why I don't necessarily have to disagree with what you're saying to the point of we do see those iconographies there, but everyone only talks. They do this to me all the time, King J. They only talk about those falcons in the Hainu that we see. No one talks about the major motifs that is shown, and that's the y'all correct me if I'm wrong. The solar feds, they kind of look like brontosaurus, but they have lion.
The twisted, they make the twitch that represents the Tau. So that represents to me
Right,
Tawi
but
unification.
that comes from that. But that's a Mesopotamian icon. And if you can't
No, it's
show
not.
me, yes, it
No, it's
is.
not.
If you can't show me, yes, it
No, it's
absolutely
not.
is. We have we can
Rah
have some
rah, don't
contention
play
on that one.
yourself.
Hey, listen,
I'm gonna tell
trust
you
me.
right now,
I
you're gonna
wouldn't. Hey,
lose.
trust me. I can promise you. I promise you. I can show it to you.
You are going
If
to
you,
lose by some few
no, okay. If you
thousand
can't
years
show
when
me,
you
listen.
lose.
No, I won't. If you
Yeah,
can't show me,
that particular, he will be able to in regards to that particular.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
gonna
trying to
Uh,
take
tell
you
you.
to some cave art that's in the south, and you're gonna lose. I'm
Listen,
telling you right now.
what I'm telling you is Asarim Khan.
Mhm.
Unless you show, right, unless you can show where Narmer not only conquered, quote unquote, anachronistically speaking, those Nubian lands or the Nahesi or those Libyans, you have to also show where he got those Mesopotamian iconographies that we see clearly on the Narmer palette.
Well, remember, you
well,
call them Mesopotamian. We don't call them Mesopotamian.
I don't care
And
what you call them. We know where region
if
of land they came from.
I don't believe so. And if I show the older, if if I show the older location, guess what? Then they
Man.
must be from that location, not the one you claiming, right?
I will acquiesce my point.
Okay, so
What you gonna show the
Here
two style? You finna
we
show the two
go.
style instance or that knife or that cereal bark cup?
Neither. We about to go to some cave art where you got that
Okay.
same picture and the
He
black
can't do that.
person
He gonna
holding both the
lose.
necks of them people, and he gonna be SOL
I'm
because you
not
ain't got
talking
nothing
on
older
that. I'm
than
not
that.
talking about the necks of the people. See, this is what I'm saying. He didn't hear. You didn't listen
Ain't
to
Right.
talking.
me.
You talking about
I'm
them two
talking.
animals that he got
I'm talking
grabbed.
about those mythical beings. Well, but we believe to be
Preachers.
mythical beings,
We
creatures.
believe them to be
With the
lions or
right
long
with the
necked
long
bulls.
with the long necks, and they had the lion faces or the leopard faces, right? With the bodies of what
Hmm
I'm just using this as
The
a
leopard.
descriptor. The bodies of the leopard, right? The
And their
giant
necks
leopards.
are
They look
tangled,
like
and
they look like
you see it in England now.
believe me, right? Entangled.
Yeah.
Unless you can show that is indigenous to any land in ancient Kemet. It is not in any of ancient Kemet's motifs. It is not. You only really find that on the Narmer palette. Now, if you say
No.
you have something older in cave art that comes from ancient Kemet, you have to show and produce that ancient Kemetic cave art that you're speaking about. And then, what caves are you referring to?
I don't like the
Right.
term Semitic during that time period neither.
Uh-oh.
I
It's just
definitely don't
not.
like the
Did that
term.
computer turn on? Did that
Yeah.
computer turn on? I mean, you about to be in trouble with just a few.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, right. He said he made it
Uh-huh.
to the laptop.
Listen.
Yeah. I want to see
Right.
it.
I'm gonna let a sword get to his laptop, but I got another show in 45 minutes, so I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna try to save a sword to a sword. Let me know when you get your joint up. I'm gonna start with Elder Yara. Elder Yara, let the people know who you got in these upcoming debates. You got me and King J. Was Christianity forced on African American slaves? You got Hemi coming up. I believe their proposition is, did God inherit the darkness? JJ and Jose, did any dynasty in ancient Kemet have practice retainer sacrifice? They got a
Mm.
face-off coming up in about 45 minutes or face-to-face. Any opinions on any of those upcoming debates?
Oh wow, man, King J is my man. King J, you're gonna have a hard time, bro. That's in my opinion. Um, that's an uphill battle, and that's what I mean by that, bro. That's an uphill battle. Um, but no doubt King J's gonna make it interesting, man. But that's an uphill battle.
What's
Um,
the debate, King J? What's the debate,
that
Yara?
I'm taking the affirmative in that.
yeah, he's taking the
What's the
affirmative of that.
debate?
Yeah, he said, "What's the debate?"
What's Christianity forced on African American slaves?
Oh, yeah, you got that.
Yeah, see that.
Hey, Elder Yara,
That's a negative.
everybody think it's easy, bro.
Hey, bro, they
Everybody
think
think it's easy.
it's easy, man. It's yeah, okay.
You want me to show you the
But
book?
yeah, what was that second
You gotta
debate again?
show.
Big Hemi?
You want me to take
I
you
see
to the book?
It's gonna be a good one for
my
sure.
brother Easy Bands in the audience. Shout out to my brother Easy
Shout
Bands.
out Easy Bands, man.
Shout out
Easy
Slum
Bands
East
also
Band.
debate coming up with my brother Nathaniel Hughes. Is there really an Islamic dilemma? Those
Hey,
brothers,
man.
you got a Muslim going against a Christian. So good old Muslim on Christian intellectual warfare. So that's on July 18th.
That's five right there, though.
So those brothers, they had a spirited back and forth. They kept it respectful. Really appreciate both of those brothers coming to the platform. And that's gonna be an interesting one. Is there really an Islamic dilemma? Let me see if I can get that up on the screen.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go.
that's a good conversation right there.
Yeah, these are some good debates you have coming up. A
Yeah.
good titles, a lot of good information on
Yep.
all the way around. Even the Jose with the retainer sacrifice thing, I think that's going to be a win for JJ because he'll be able to
Yeah.
show the first dynasty. I've only seen it in First Dynasty. So outside of that, I wouldn't argue that maybe beginning second, first 6 to 9 suits. After that, I don't see it at all. So if he's able to show it one time, I think you win. You feel me? So
Yeah, because unfortunately it said any, and Jose just confessed today that he didn't catch that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
You got to pay more attention, brother.
Thinking like that, he finna default for the second time. You gotta
Hey,
make these
listen,
titles.
and let me say this about Jose, man. Hey, listen, shout out to him, man. I give him respect because if anybody come on these platforms and say, you know what, I acquiesce to your point, I was wrong. I went and did some more research, and it ain't paying. My premise ain't panning out. I default. Hey, man, I appreciate you for not wasting my time. I really do. I appreciate you for not wasting
Yeah,
my
I
time.
respected it, man. I
So
know
that's respect.
Sinetta was giving him the business, but I actually respected it.
Yeah, I respect that. I respect that.
It's hard to argue points you don't really believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying?
DMG.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you blow up my screen while they talking?
Yeah, he gonna show us that some that predates the
I just
millennium
want you to
falcon.
blow up my screen while they talking. That's all.
Yep.
Yeah, I ain't gonna do it to you, y'all, bro. I ain't gonna do it to you, dog. I'm just letting you know what it is in the early times.
Yeah.
What's going? You understand?
I
You
understand
understand me?
exactly. I understand exactly
You
what that is,
understand me,
but that
young
is
man?
not what
Okay,
I'm
now.
talking about, brother.
Huh? What you talking about, man? Come on now. You
That
understand
was
me?
not. That is not what I'm
You
talking
understand
about,
me?
brother.
That's what he talking about.
I knew you couldn't do it,
He wanna.
Asar.
It's there. It's right there. That's
Listen,
the original.
King
That's
J,
that's not
Yahoo,
the Zalofa
Asar.
feds, though, bro. That's not the Zalofa
Hey,
feds.
Brother,
let me
I'm
know if
gonna
y'all
let you know one more
interested.
again.
Let me know if y'all interested in joining Worldview Wars Debate League. Like I said, standard debates. Each competitor gets $50. Unless y'all confess to me that y'all want to reinvest it back into the platform, I will be happy to do that. But otherwise, each competitor will get $50. If you win one of my titles, you will get $100, and your challenger will get $50. We trying to kick this thing back off. I was trying to let Chris handle it on his own, but it's been slow going. So I got to pick up the torch and get this thing back popping. But let me know if y'all interested in competing, or even if y'all just want to have a standard debate over here on Paradigm Shift. Either way, y'all welcome to it. I'm going to go around. I'm going to start with Asar M. Ka, and I'm going to go around and let everybody close out. King J, you're going to have the last word. Go ahead, Asar.
Oh, okay, yeah. My brother Yara is masterful. Generally, and some things you just don't know, brother. These are the two lions. In the late 19th century, an extraordinary discovery emerged in Upper Egypt, remnants of a burial site dating back more than 5 millennia, well before the rise of the pharaonic dynasties. The ancient tomb referred to as Tomb 100 to an unidentified local ruler. Although looted in antiquity, its discovery still captivated researchers to the remarkable wall paintings found inside, which hinted a motifs and symbols that would later become prominent in Egyptian artistic tradition, my brother. I'm just letting you know. The tomb dates back to the distant Egyptian prehistory known as the Gerzian or Nakata II period, 3500 to 3200 BC. You cannot get around it. They're going to tell you later in this article the two lions that they're discussing right there, which you've already condemned yourself calling the other two's leopards. So we know exactly what you're thinking. We know where it came from. Look at them boat burials way back when. So it's up. And there goes some of the lions right there as they joyfully play with them. You will also see a lot of the original as I land the plane, you will see a lot of the original stellas, the ideas of the stellas, things like the Cave of Swimmers. You've probably seen me and Saber Reggie cover before, Smash as well, and others. There's stuff that shows the original smiting scenes where someone is grabbing some hair putting mace to face, right? So all of that stuff comes from the cave art. So we know a couple things, not only the blacktop pottery, which would dispel the myth that it came in from Mesopotamia first, when that blacktop pottery comes from the south. We know they weren't making pots from scratch. And then we've got this lion motif right here from 3500 BC in a cave or in a tomb 100 from way back when. And suddenly Narmer pops up unifying the land. And this is an old ruler. So we're talking pre-dynastic Egypt, before Dynasty 0, before Dynasty 1. Don't put your cards on the table, gentlemen. It'll be wild. And then our other brother, he last, because he said that, you know, he wanted to talk about the Hammurabi code, I can't even say it, the Hammurabi codes, and comparing them to the 42 negative confessions. They don't go back far enough, brother. We just trying to give you hints so you don't get on that stage. Up on the stage is where I'm gonna get you at. You think I'm losing? Picture that.
Well, I'm saying let's get face to face. Let's get face to face, and we'll just come out with a little bit of our information, and we can determine then.
Okay. A sword dropped off. A sword dropped off. But listen, I got both of y'all numbers. So I'm gonna try to put that together. But brother, respond to them. And brother, I'm gonna be reaching out to you maybe Monday to see if we can get our interview on the books too.
Most definitely. So just real quick, I'm gonna close out with this. Asaram Ka, can you see that? Can you see that, my good brother?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let the people see it.
Yeah. So this is the Narmer palette. This is the back of the palette right here. Or no, the front. But anyways, this is the saprods that the brother Elder Yara was bringing out. Great information as always, as usual, because you know that's why they hate us Hebrews. You see that, my brother? Look at this. Hold on. I can't get the camera to focus good. But this is the mystical beings or the creatures that the brother was talking about. We don't see that on your cave art, okay? All right. So with that, peace and blessings, shalom uvraka, to the Paradigm Shift 314, DMG, much respect, man. I've been linked in on the channel for some time now. Always got some good information being put up. Elder Yara, you already know. Tanks on the Ground, New Torah movement. King J, we definitely got to get at it too. We definitely got to get at it too. But with that, I'm out. Shalom alaikum.
Hey, brother, before you go, is that the title of the show you want to do?
What's that?
What you put in the private chat?
Did I put something? I don't think I did.
It say. Oh no, that was King J. King J put a message for you in the private chat. Okay. I was going to ask you what you got going on Tuesday, bro. Let's do a Tuesday takeover.
Okay, cool. That's gonna be a good time for me too, because I'm off for the next few days. So you know what I'm saying. I'm free.
That'll work. I'll hit you up on the details.
Okay, cool.
Elder Yara, it's on you, bro.
Yeah, peace and blessings to you again, man, and everybody on the panel. My good brother, Yerim Yahoo, man, Sapphire Things on the Ground. Shout out to you, King J, as well, my good brother, and to the infamous DMG. Appreciate you as always. And Asar M. Ka does it again. I've been debating Asar M. Ka since about 8 years, and it never fails. I didn't ask him about the lions being grabbed by the neck. I talked to him exactly about what my good brother Yerim Yahoo showed the primary on the Narmer palette, the sulfur-feds. I always mispronounce it, the sulfur-feds, the two mythical beings with the long intertwining necks. That is Mesopotamian motif. It does not come out of ancient Kemet. It does not come out of Napata. It does not come out of Nubia. It's not part of the Hessian artwork. That is strictly Mesopotamian work. And they never touch it. Do you know why they never touch it? Because they have to explain why on the Narmer palette, the unifier of upper Kemet and lower Kemet, why does he come in with those Mesopotamian motifs? Why do they depict him as that? And it's another thing, the Narmer palette is a makeup palette. And you know what they found in that makeup palette, what it was for? It was for that black eye makeup that we see in the B'nai Hassan mirror being bought in by the Amu. That's what that palette was for. That's why it has a little circular indentation in it. It was for the eye makeup. So
Y'all should debate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we
Y'all should debate.
know what these things are. And Sa'im Ka does this all the time. I didn't ask him about anything. Now, if I was asking him about the what is that the knife, King J? What do you call it?
Sarah Bet, I can't pronounce it. Barack, that knife, the
Yeah,
handle,
the Barak knife
yeah.
with the handle, the ivory one, where he's actually holding the two lions by the neck. He would be close. But that's not what we were talking about. That's not the Narmer palette, brother. We're talking about the Mesopotamian artwork that we see on the Narmer palette. King
So
J
you don't
was
think?
right. It does have a falcon. It does have the falcon on there. It does have the Himnu depiction on there. It actually has the catfish at the top. We see those things. Those things are connected to ancient Kemet, right? Those things were things, symbols of the king, the catfish, right? But they still can explain to us how and why the Mesopotamian motif is on there so prominently, and not just on the front, because that's what the brother showed you. I think he showed you on the front as well as the back. The back has even more Mesopotamian iconography on it. Y'all can't explain it. They run away from it each time. So unless y'all can tell us that he did not go into Mesopotamia or that somehow he wasn't influenced by Mesopotamia, y'all got to show us how I got there and why it was on there. There's no attestation in ancient Kemet about those beings. That I have the research for. Doesn't exist. So we know it's Mesopotamia. I'll land.
Facts.
Stop playing with us, Asayim Ka. And somebody said
Facts.
in the chat, so the Hebrews know better than that. Now, what y'all think we've been doing?
Exactly. Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick.
Y'all really have
Let
no
me say
idea
this.
what we on right now.
Hold on, bro. I gotta let King J get the last word, and I got a show in 18 minutes. So if it's gonna be quick, go ahead. But other than that,
Yeah, go ahead, y'all.
just real quick. Learn Torah Hebrew Academy. The first course, biblical course, you learn Metanetter, Aramaic, and biblical Hebrew. We've been doing this for about 6 years now.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with Hebrews being able to recognize Egyptian iconography. I think they would be good at it, seeing as if they the Proto-Semitic script was built off of Egyptian iconography. So I would assume they would be able to. Just as if I assume that somebody who could read the Metanetter would probably be able to parse the Hebrew script.
Well said. Well said.
Yep.
Hey, shout
Let
out
me
to
get up out
Easy
of here.
Bands.
I got something going on. Let me get up out. I'm gonna close real quick. Shout out to the debate next week. Definitely tune in for it. Gonna be a lot of good information drop. Sapphire, I'm trying to get into it with you about something in regards to the Emirate expansion. I got some good information on that. Actually, me and the brother Yarok
Yeah, he
kind
does.
of
He
got some
does. 1,000.
background on something in regards to that. So if you want to chop it up and get into it about that, we can for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. We could have a face-to-face on that too. Excuse me.
All right. So we both got DMG numbers, so we'll just be in tune.
Cool.
No
Sounds
doubt.
good.
No
All right, peace.
Yeah.
hit me up.
Shout out to
Hit me
GD
up.
Capone. I see GD Capone be dropping jewels all the time, man. I never really get the chance to get on the panel with the brother, but shout out to GD Capone as well, man. I'll be
Yeah,
watching.
man.
Bro.
Shalom to the brother.
Shalom.
Yeah, next time, hit the panel, bro. Hit the panel. All right, family, listen. Come back in 15 minutes. We got JJ and Jose Francis face to face. They got a debate coming up. Was there any retainer sacrifice? Let me rephrase that. Did any ancient Kemetic dynasties practice retainer sacrifice? The face-to-face is coming up for the upcoming debate. Come back in 15 minutes. Y'all know what it is, man. Paradigm Shift TV 314, Worldview Wars Debate League. Y'all know where we at. Y'all know what we doing. We got some debates coming up. Listen, come back, or should I say come black, in 15 minutes, man. We gonna be right black at it. Next time you're gonna hear.
I told y'all what to step into. I ain't disrespecting you, son. You wanted to be one way. What? You wanted to be one way. But it's the other way.
Funny how everybody loved debate till the judges say they lost. Funny how everybody claim they want smoke till the scorecards come across.
My name is my name.
Everybody gangster when the verdict go their way. Taking victory laps, posting on social media all day. But let them catch an L, now the judges all corrupt. Now the rules wasn't fair, now the platform messed up. When you won, it was justice. When you lost, it was rigged. When the spotlight was on you, man, you danced a little jig.
Funny how the narrative changes overnight. You a scholar on Monday, by Tuesday ready to fight.
Y'all don't want accountability, you want applause. Want championship treatment without championship flaws. See, debate ain't about feelings, it's about evidence, argument, and skill. Sometimes you climb the mountain,
sometimes you fall down the hill. You want it to be one way,
but it's the other way.
But it's the other way.
When you win, it's all love.
When you lose, it's another day. You want it to be one way,
but it's the other way.
The same judges you praised last month ain't fair today. You want it to be one way,
but it's the other way.
The facts don't bend for feelings, no matter what you say. My name, my name.
The hate got me laughing. It really tell the story. If the platform wasn't working, why they obsessed with my glory? Every week somebody got an opinion to proclaim, but they still tuning faithfully. That's free promotion of the name. Paradigm Shift TV 314 still standing, while critics in the comments keep demanding and demanding. See the infamous perspective, giving viewpoints room to breathe. The black church files digging deeper than was seen. The Kemet takeover, bringing culture to the floor. The GT perspective, asking questions they ignore. Here you get many choices. Ladies' night, giving divas voices. Different minds, different paths, different truth. Reaching the elders and the youth. But it's the other way.
You said the platform needed you, but somehow you still stayed.
Yeah.
You wanted to be one way,
but it's the other way.
The show keeps moving forward even after people stray. You wanted to be one way,
but it's the other way.
The audience decides, not the stories that you made.
I've seen debaters come and go. Some legends, some pretenders. Some became champions, some became contenders. Some accepted losses and came back even stronger. Others spent 6 months complaining and being bitter even longer. Everybody wanna run a platform. Everybody got advice, but very few know the sacrifice, are willing to pay the price. Fight facts, challenge views, give the people real discussion, not excuses when you lose. So whether they applaud or whether they complain, one thing remains forever.
My name is my name.
But it's the other way.